and fauna. We have a 10 ecosystem, one only in Malaysia, actually in situ.
The uniqueness of City Wetland State Park is that we are close with community. The only state park that receive visitors to enjoy the nature.
What we are doing right now, the sustainable tourism, we are working closely with district office and also Majlis Daerah to support the product that we have from our boardwalk. We prolong it to our community. The visitors, the audience can get local products from City Wetland, so that the community can give back and also get back on nature products.
Dia ada dekat Pulau Busung. Sebenarnya kat Pulau Busung ni, ini adalah checkpoint untuk cari lokan. Dekat sini dia ada 2 spesies lokan. Normally kita ada lokan lumpur dan juga longkang pasir. Actually this package I have 3 element. For the one element is education. So education for the mangrove, education for the flora and fauna. Second is element is fun. So and then the third element is historical.
One of our main or our aim is to help the local community here to highlight their traditional knowledge and also empower them to do education tourism. So we train them to be a wetland teacher where they teach people that come, the visitors that come to the city wetland, not only about the nature in city wetland but also the part on heritage, the part on livelihood of the people here.
Okay, so this is the filling of the sata. We have fish, and then onion, garlic, and this is asam.
In a lot of places in Malaysia, in other worlds, the local community just be the people that see the development of tourism, but they do not get anything from the industry. So we emphasize that local community should be benefit from the tourism.
Whatever UNDP and doing it right now, I think it's a good effort. It's a good platform with the communities, NGOs, government agency to sustain not only tourism, ecotourism, but nature itself.
Laka di dalam projek pelancongan lestari di bawah UNDP ni bukan sekadar menyediakan kertas kerja atau laporan di peringkat awalan dan juga interim, tetapi mereka juga adalah sebagai koordinator yang mengurus dan memastikan projek ini berada di landasan yang betul supaya target-target kita tercapai, KPI kita ditepati. Jadi dengan adanya projek ni, kita dah ada produk kita sendiri dan juga kita ada pertambahan jumlah pengusaha dalam satu penghasilan kraft dan juga melibatkan kaum wanita.
Dari segi pengeluaran produk, kalau nak compare daripada dulu, of course saya buat seorang sangat limited, tak dapat hasilkan dengan banyak. Tapi dengan sokongan daripada UNDP, saya dapat membuka peluang pekerjaan kepada golongan-golongan yang memerlukan seperti wanita ataupun anak-anak muda untuk turut membantu dari segi penghasilan. Jadi of course saya dapat hasilkan dengan lebih banyak dan juga dengan lebih berkualiti.
Kemahiran baru yang saya dapat selepas bersama dengan Rumah Batik adalah dapat peralatan-alatan yang lebih banyak, lebih baik. Jadi saya daripada hasilkan produk yang home base, saya dah boleh explore untuk menghasilkan produk yang lebih banyak. Di samping explore bahan-bahan yang lebih baru, penggunaan daun yang berbeza, warna-warna yang lebih banyak lah untuk menghasilkan produk yang lebih baik.
Batik alternatif ini, dia tidak menggunakan chemical yang akan merosakkan alam sekitar. Jadi dia adalah penghasilan yang zero waste, sifar pembaziran dan juga sifar penggunaan chemical. So dia akan menyumbang kepada kelestarian alam sekitar.
Saya tak terbayang yang saya satu hari boleh jadi artisan dan boleh menghasilkan produk-produk sebegini. Dan antara pencapaian saya bersama Rumah Batik baru-baru ini telah memenangi award. Sebagai seorang suri rumah, saya tak sangka melalui Rumah Batik saya dapat go to a greater length dan dapat exposure sebeginilah.
Visi kami sedikit sebanyak telah dibantu oleh projek ini yang merupakan asas atau foundation yang mana membantu kami untuk menyediakan fasiliti ini secara fizikal dan juga digital dengan lebih teratur supaya memberi peluang dan ruang kepada pengusaha yang ada dan juga pengusaha yang lain supaya mereka dapat sustain di masa yang akan datang.
Saya perkenalkan diri saya dulu. Nama saya Ahmad Firdaus bin Syed Omar. Saya merupakan setiausaha kepada Mersing Tourism Association dan saya ingin memperkenalkan Mersing kepada anda semua. Tourism benefits to the local more than the foreigner. Bahasa Melayunya, pelancongan ni memberikan pulangan yang baik kepada lokaliti berbanding dengan orang-orang asing yang datang. Sepatutnya komuniti menjadi sumber utama daripada segi perkhidmatan untuk memastikan pelancongan menjadi sumber pendapatan, dan saya rasa bertepatan dengan apa yang UNDP cuba bawa.
Bila saya cuba kerja dekat petrol pump tu, saya punya confident tu agak kurang lah, sebab orang macam pandang oh budak macam ni kerja macam ni je lah. Tapi Encik Firdaus boleh nampak kebolehan saya. Jadi di situ saya dah macam oh sebenarnya orang yang ada kat OKU ni pun boleh kerja macam orang-orang normal, boleh diberi peluang untuk kerja dalam bidang-bidang yang mengenai tourism apa semua ni. Untuk permulaan ni, saya bermula sebagai graphic designer dan content creator lah. Saya buat design-design baju, saya akan buat design-design untuk kitchen, dan juga kalau kita ada pergi event, mungkin saya akan buat design untuk backdrop event tersebut.
Saya melihat ada sikit keceriaan kepada penduduk. Kalau dahulu mereka hanya dapat satu hari upah RM4 sahaja untuk memasak dari ejen pelancongan, tetapi sekarang mereka dah jadi pemilik kepada syarikat aktiviti selam scuba. Mereka sendiri yang bawa pelancong untuk menyelam. Jadi daerah Mersing ni diurus sendiri oleh anak-anak Mersing sendiri.
Antara sebab utama saya pilih Mersing sebagai lokasi pendidikan saya adalah kerana saya nampak Mersing ni mempunyai potensi dalam bidang pelancongan. Kerana apa? Mersing ni mempunyai banyak pulau-pulau yang cantik yang sangat berdekatan dengan Mersing, dan antaranya Pulau Besar, Pulau Tioman dan Pulau Au. Selepas saya dapat sokongan padu daripada Mersing Tourism Association sendiri dan juga pihak UNDP sendiri, alhamdulillah hasil pada latihan dan juga sokongan padu tu saya dapat kenaikan gaji antaranya RM5,000 sehingga ke RM8,000.
Perkara ini dikawal melalui mitos. Jadi setiap ejen perlu memasukkan data. Jadi dari segi pengkalan data, jumlah pelancong yang datang ke Mersing pun kami boleh dapat statistik dari negara mana. Kemudian dari segi perancangan masa hadapan pun kami boleh buat dengan jumlah statistik yang ada. Kita dari pihak kerajaan bersama dengan pihak UNDP, kita akan bagikan apa kemahiran. Contohnya kita dah bagi mereka kemahiran bahasa Inggeris. Kita dah bagi mereka latihan yang berkaitan dengan kaedah snorkeling supaya tidak merosakkan kita punya terumbu karang.
Dia punya impact selepas latihan ni sangat memberi kesan yang sangat bagus dan hebat pada saya, sebab saya boleh berkomunikasi secara baik dengan pengunjung di dalam negara dan juga di luar negara dengan confident.
Kutip sampah mudah, simpan itu lebih mudah. Tetapi cabarannya ialah apakah mesin yang kita nak gunakan supaya kita dapat recycle kembali. Daripada plastik boleh menjadi souvenir dan cenderamata. Daripada cenderamata boleh dibawa pulang, boleh dikongsikan. Rasa rindu, rasa kasih, rasa ingatan kepada seluruh keluarga yang sedang menanti di rumah.
Professor and distinguished speakers, and also UNTourism actually currently just focusing on mountain tourism, and then start from, can't remember last year or this year, we're having annual conference on mountain tourism. So this is very interesting, and then a new information and knowledge for me, and then so I would like to invite the speakers to the stage. So first of all, I would like to welcome Associate Professor, this is a long title here, Prof. Excuse me, Muhammad Rafi Baharudin. Please come to the stage. And big applause, please. Thank you. So Professor has a long bio, so I'm not going to read everything. It's okay, Prof, yeah? So you can see that he's very professional, very famous. So you can just Google him on LinkedIn or Google or other social media. I'm pretty sure you will find him out. And the second one, we have our one and only ladies. Please come to the stage, Miss Zella Asmi Nahizan. Thank you. So Ms. Zella Azlina Hizand is the Master Body Chan and Partners, also representative of Malaysia's Forestry Mountain Guide. So we have female mountain guide here. Wow, excellent. I love to see people, especially females, doing, the hard work and hard things. And I would like to invite our third speakers, Mr. Azim Afif, Executive Director of Peak Journey. Thank you. So Mrs. Afif is an Executive Director and led the Malaysia Everest 2023 expedition. Oh, so it was just last year. Recently, actually. Ah, okay. Wow. Okay. Very impressive bio. However, I'm not going to be able to compete with him. Mr. Tandy Sherpa, please come to the stage. I can see as well that Mr. Tandy is very popular among the audience. I saw already that some people taking photos of him and talk to him, networking. So use the time while you are here. So he's the co-founder of Himali brand and 17 times. Oh, that's heavy. I don't even can climb Kinabalu. 17 times Everest climber. Oh, was born in Sangkua Sabah district. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So it's afternoon because everyone is just having lunch. So I believe they feel a bit, sleepy. However, we have interesting questions to ask. We have 3 sessions. Okay, so each of you, I will ask one question, and we go to the second one, the third one, and if there are some questions from the audience, please, you can just raise your hand, and then we will deliver the mic. Okay. So first question for Professor Muhammad Rafi. What should I call you, Prof? Just Professor, is it okay? Okay. First question. The risks are often associated with crisis and disaster management. Can you share why is it important to understand and prepare for potential crisis or disaster will be able to enhance the resilience of mountain tourism destinations? And how can this contribute to long-term sustainability? Did you get the question?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't get it.
I just came to know about the skating, just 2 hours back.
Okay, please, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. And again, thank you, UNDP. Thank you, my fellow colleagues, especially from the Jabatan Perhutanan Malaysia, right? And of course, my respective panels here in front. And I think before I talk about the crisis and disaster management, let us look at what we have right now. Okay, so we know that mountain climbing is a very high risk activity, and I believe that everyone knows this particular activity is actually on increasing trend, right? And even I was just involved in this kind of activity just recently, and I believe that some of the audience know me in terms of the risk assessment classes. And we just completed yesterday a risk management class in University of Malaysia. Now, having said that, I'm glad to share some of the ideas that we need to have before we can manage crisis or even disaster or even emergency situation. Now, the first thing that we need to know is, do we know what are the hazards that we are actually exposed to, right? The hazards, what are the risks that we are exposed to, and how we are going to encounter all these, unwanted situation. And there are terminologies in mountain climbing that we need to understand, right? Emergency, it has its own specific definitions. When we talk about crisis also has its specific definitions. When we talk about disaster, we also talk about specific definitions. So in tourism industries, when we talk about emergency, we're talking about the immediate action that we need to take into consideration when something unwanted things happening, right? So this is all about, for example, falling incidents, right? During you climbing the mountain. Now, when you talk about the crisis management, you are talking about establishing or developing a new policy based on whatever scenarios that you face in order for you to make it more perfect in the next coming future. And when you talk about disaster, we are talking about the integrated management by the lead agencies in terms of search and rescue, things like that. So in order for you to deliver all these messages to the mountain climbers and also the tourists, first and foremost, they need to know what are their basic risks that they supposed to gain the knowledge through some platform. For example, now we have TikToks, right? We have TikToks. So from the TikToks, you know that whatever which mountain that you wanted to climb, having certain hazards and risks. But to me, when we talk about the national perspective, I would say that the mountain climbers in Malaysia, we call it MGP, Malim Gunung Perhutanan, right? They need to know some theory behind the assessments of the risk. So when they know what are the hazards that they are exposed to, they're supposed to know how to control the hazard. So it applies to the emergency situation, to the crisis situation, to the disaster situation in terms of the management. You can't even manage the hazard if you don't know what is the hazard, right? And of course, when you talk about the hazard, you need to assess the risk as well. I believe all of you know about there are also a hazard to the rescuer. All right, there are also a hazard to the rescuer. Sometimes the rescuer might die because of helping someone else. So these are the holistic approach that I would say everyone should know, especially dealing with the high risk tourism activities. And before I in my explanation about this, I would also like to say that in our country we have Malaysian standard, right? Malaysian standard. Whoever involved in disaster management, in crisis management, they need to know about the Malaysian standard 2735. Okay, 2735. So this Malaysian standard is actually explaining about the emergency response and preparedness. Okay, so inside the standards, they will give you some kind of idea on how to manage emergency situation, crisis situation, and of course the disaster management as a whole. And yet to be think about is we need to have a proper training for that. Thank you.
The second question, you have an answer, Prof. How can this contribute to long-term sustainability?
Okay.
Yeah.
How? Well, I see Jabatan Hutan, the Forestry Department, have a vision on this. Okay. So now every Malim Gunung Perhutanan, one of the subject matters that they need to attend in their advanced training is search and rescue. So it's something to do about the crisis management, disaster management as well. And now I believe that almost maybe 2,000 plus Mexican has been trained, has been trained to ensure that the sustainability for the tourism industry, especially on high risk activity, can be taken into considerations in terms of knowledge, skill, and experience. So in terms of sustainability, I believe that the connectivity, the connections between the tourists, of course, and then the person who are competent in doing this, as well as the lead agencies in disasters management, to be together and looking forward toward future mountaineering or mountain climbing activity in tourism industries.
Okay, so the keyword is, bear in mind, if you are interested climbing the mountain, that you are ready to take the risk. So if you're not ready to take the risk, don't go to the mountain. Just go to the shopping mall. And the second one, the most important thing is to have trained people to make it sustain. Yeah, because we know when accidents happen and then the news all over the world, and then of course it will bring negative impact into the destinations, to the organization, and la 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 la. So this is I completely understand. And then so we go to Miss Zela Azni Nahizan. The first question for you. So how do health risks such as altitude sickness or injuries affect mountain guides, and what measures can be taken to mitigate these risks while maintaining high standards of service? Wow, this is hard, eh? This is not about theory, yeah, miss?
I'll try my best.
Okay, please.
Thank
Time
you,
is yours.
Marita and United Nations for inviting me. Okay, first and foremost, I would like to make it clear that I'm here on behalf of Forestry Mountain Guide. We have a specific jurisdiction only. So my power is only on the mountain in the reserve forest. Kinabalu is not our power. Tahan also is not within our power. So, okay, with regards to the risk such as altitude sickness, our mountain doesn't possess that kind of threat because we are not that high. The highest is Tahan 2187 and it's not under our jurisdiction. The one under Pilitan. Okay. Our most of our threat is of course the river because our mountain is in the one of the oldest rainforests in the world. So our forest is very dense with a very complex ecosystem. So our threat is river. We already have hikers like the river, and then venomous animals. Okay, that's my concern actually. And what measure can be taken to mitigate the risk? Actually, this is what we've been collaborating with Prof. Rafi. We have been courses. One of it, I admit that I'm a bit hiker. I'm not a mountain guide actually because I can afford to appoint a mountain guide. So when there's an opening in training for mountain guide, I experienced. So I was macam, okay, let's see what happened to our hobby. What's the mountain, what's the forestry department up to? So we went to basic course. I've learned and lots of things, the CPR, how to read the maps, and then how to rescue river rescue, everything. It's okay. But then when I attend the advanced course, that one I met Prof. Rafiba. Okay, I saw the courses with my legal arts actually. I was wondering what happened if one day there's a grieving parents come and see me, ask me to sue the NGP. What defense would they find? So the first time I set eyes on Prof. Rafi list, the checklist of NGPs, I was like, oh, this is pretty solid. If only all the NGPs follow the checklist by Prof. Rafi, you're going to be a tough nut to crack in court. So that's why it's an honor actually to work closely with Prof. Rafi. I'm with the devil advocate, so how to beat the beast. So far, Prof. Rafi is doing a very good job. So I hope we're going to finalize this in 20%. So that's how we're going to mitigate the risk. The fact that we already have the list. Just to if you go for all the checklist, inshallah, we can minimize the accident.
And with this checklist, Prof. and Ms. Zela, how did you get or finalize this checklist? Did you do like forum group discussion and then you consultate?
We do group discussion because we are the hikers and the mountain guiders. So it is us who have the first-hand experience in the mountain.
Okay, so it's a hands-on experience that comes into this paper, yeah? So it's not only like their study and then, okay, this sounds pretty good.
7 days in one of the reserve forests in Tuang. I'm the first batch. I'm the benefit of forestry. So it's 6 days. Every day we just discuss about this, and then we have another topics about the communication. It's 50 module by the forestry department just to produce the forestry model.
Okay, wow.
We try to do that. because the NGP is only 5 years old. We're still new. We're still learning.
Okay, okay. Sounds wonderful work, yeah. Still lots of works ahead, but however, with these experts and the others, people that interest, I'm pretty sure you will get lots of support. And the next question is for Mr. Azim Afif. The question is the success story. Can you highlight successful ways of the tourism operators or mountain guides to transparently communicate potential risks associated with high attraction activities to tourists? And how does this transparency contribute to a safer and more responsible travel experience?
Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon.
Good
Thanks to
afternoon.
the UNDP. So the question is on the success story. On the transparently communicated potential risks. So communication cannot be one way. That is why we call it as communicate. So in mountains, there will be operators. There will be mountain guides. There will be a team leader. There will be a porter. So there are so many structures in the mountain expedition. So if the operator, the mountain guides, and if in Everest, we also have the Sarda. Sarda means the Sherpa, team leader of the Sherpa. And also we also have the expedition leader from the team members. So this is all we need to communicate. So to have this, if one of the party didn't have the transparency, then it can make the expedition hazardous. So the first thing is the operator, of course, what is the main role of the operator? What is the main role of the mountain guides? What is the role of the Sarda expedition leader? That is need to be listed, and the best is in written. So the first thing is for the operators or the mountain guides, we must do the pre-trip briefings. So in this pre-trip briefing, it must be stated on the medical. What is the medical status of a person who are able to join? Either is it by the medical checkup or the clarification from the client itself. And the second thing is the training. Some of the expedition, not all the team members can be in one time, but we can, by the technologies, we can go by Strava, we can go by so many apps and methods to monitor. And the third one is the equipments. So in Everest or in Himalaya, we always say there is no bad weather, is always a bad gears. But the bad weather is there, but at least the gears is meant to help us when there is a hazardous like the avalanche or wind or something is that we don't want to be happen. And the third one is and the fourth one is we need to visualize to the client, to the mountain guides as well, what they are going to get through. Different trail, different visual. In Everest itself, it has two sides, Everest side, Nepal side. In Malaysia, also have so many sites. Let's say like you want to go to Gunung Raja, you can go by two of three trails. It's up to you which one you want to choose. So we need, as operators or the mountain guides, we need to give thoroughly on what you are going through the trail, so that the risk is to be shared among these the parties. Not only a client say like, oh, I'll pay the mountain guides. You need to be with me all the time. And as a guide, also my responsibility is to take care of you with my jurisdiction or the experience. And the operator said, okay, we give you all the logistics. What you need, satellite phone, radio, GPS. So that is the operator side. On the second is we need also to always have a risk disclosure agreements, because we are going to have a risk. So the risk, the maximum is that. So in Himalaya on the 8,000 meters in Everest, K2, Chooyu, the maximum factor of the risk is you will lose your life. So this is where we need to be agreed. If you are not ready to go, don't go. But if you are ready to go, we must also know that God also have the plan. We also have the plan. We can plan A to Z. But ultimately, the God also have a plan for us. So by fully aware of the potential and dangers, this can make everybody aware. We are going to the, if in Everest, for Malaysian team, we always like, we are not the soldiers, but we always here to the army or the soldiers song, because once we step out of the base camp, not the last camp, the base camp, we actually acknowledge that we might not come back. So the third one is the interactive safety workshop. After all the participants ready, sign everything, we can do a one workshop. This workshop is to put the layering. The gears is there. You can go to Himalaya, like our friend have a brand of Himalaya. We can go to North Face. We can go to Eagle. But the thing is, the fundamental of the layering, the first layer, second layer, third layer, that is what we need to understand, and we need how to practice on the expedition. So the fourth one, the last one is we already in the war, means in the battle. For mountains, we are not in the battle of with our friends. It's actually we only fight with ourselves. So when we are there, that is the client side. From the operator side and the guide side, they should give the safety briefing when entering, and the briefing must be made daily. Usually at the night, we will gather what happened, what we are going to tomorrow, and then the weather forecast. We need to give, okay, tomorrow the wind predict to be like 25 kilometers per hour. And we also need to have the alternative plans. If the wind is too high, then maybe we sleep one more night, or we turn back, or we go down first, rest, and come out again. So this is for my opinion, that is the how transparency need to be done to make sure expedition, mountain climbing must be fun, not stress, because we go to the mountains to release all the stress. If we go to the mountains and we get stressed, don't go to the mountains.
Thank you, because for me, listening to all the lists, it's already make me very stressful. So I think this is not for me, that's for sure. Okay, so the next question to Mr. Tandy. You have climbed the highest mountain in the world 17 times. Oh my God. Bravo, please. In your experience, crisis and emergency are anticipated during mountain climbing. That's for sure. Can you share what are the safety standards that should be adhered by the mountain guide and tourism operators to ensure the well-being, so the sanity, of tourists while participating in high attractions activities? And how do these standards support sustainable tourism?
please.
Thank you very much. Namaste and very good afternoon, everybody. I would like to firstly say thank you to UNDP from Malaysia for having me here, and it's a great opportunity. As a climber, we always play on the mountain. We're not really used to a stage like this, but it feels pretty awesome to be here, standing in front of you guys and sharing a little bit of my mountain knowledge. So I have been practicing mountains for over 25 years now. So just on Everest alone, I have been guiding there since 22 years now. Submitted only 17 times because there were so many times that I had to turn back with my clients, not just because of clients, but also because of the weather sometimes, because of the mountain disasters and all these things. So as we talk about the mountain safety, ensuring the safety, the first thing is really about the training. You know, as a mountain guide, there are many steps. If I talk about Nepal, the first step to become a mountain guide is to become a porter. So to become a porter, all you need to be is to be physically strong to carry big loads. And that is like a first step. So I worked as a porter for like almost 10 years. And then after that, I was accepted to work in a high altitude zone, especially on Mount Everest. So I started working as a climber since I was 19 years of age. And so if I look at back, what was the most important to ensure the safety was to really gain lots of experience, the mountain experience. Sometime by studying at a school or in the training, but sometimes really doing your own research. You know, you get many different kinds of troubles when you are in a high altitude. And those troubles, if you take it very positively, they become very good education. If they're good, you want to keep that and keep improving that. And if they were bad, you want to really improve that and be better for next time. So training is really important, and the certification, you know, after you have a extensive training, the certification is very important. Someone who wants to be a mountain guide needs to be certified, you know, like a local body or a government who are experts in the field must certify the guide that he's capable to take clients on a mountain. And like in Nepal, now we have this highest education system called the IFMGA. The IFMGA education is the highest educations in the mountain guiding field. So there is no bigger education. I took almost 10 years to complete this course, and finally in 2011, I was able to complete and pass this exam and became fully internationally certified mountain guide. And then I have been practicing as a mountain guide, not just in Nepal and Himalaya, but also in South America. For example, in Argentina, there's a highest peak called Aconcagua, and then Bolivia and Chile, Antarctica, United States, and also so many years in Switzerland Alps, because Swiss Alps has a, you know, the Alps has a beautiful mountains, not big mountains, but they're very hard and very great place for practicing for the mountain guides. So I was there also to practice the rescue and all this. Even after, you know, like even after I became a guide, every day has been learning something new in my life. Before I actually became a guide, I thought I was, after I summit Everest for almost like more than 10 times, I thought I'm a great mountain guide. But once I got into the training program, I realized that I was still far away to be a good guide. And so that's the reason why I got the training and got the certification. And I think this certification is really important and helpful to be safe on the mountain. as a guide, you have a many responsibility. The guiding job is a huge commitment. You know, every step you move, you make a decisions, whether it's good or bad, and whether it's safe or not. Because we take clients, that every client has a dream to reach a summit of a mountain. But for a guide, summit is just a halfway. Summit is just like a false summit. The true summit is when we can bring back our client and send them to their family. That is the true summit. And and also to achieve this true summit, you know, not only mountain guide can do all these things. Like Azim already explained before, we have outfitters, like a company, those who organize the expedition. And this, we're still working on the systems. In the Himalayas over the past couple of years, tourism, especially mountain tourism, been so popular and so busy. And sometimes I can kind of feel that they're having really hard time to control. They don't know what to do. You know, like there's so many tourists, they're overwhelmed, and there are all kinds of tourists. Many tourists, they also have no idea about mountain experience. They haven't been to any mountains before, but they still want to climb a big mountain. And that's very risky. That's a very, as a mountain guide, I can feel that it's so risky. Because right now, it's not it has become a lot more challenging to climb mountains than before. Like I remember back in like 15 years ago, the mountain condition used to be a lot more stable than now. Right now, we are in the crisis of climate change. We strongly feel and realize that climate change is serious. And every day, the melting of ice is a lot. You know, weathers are more and more unpredictable, and there are always more disaster. So you have to kind of like swim through this kind of challenge. And for that, you need really a lot of experience and a lot of patience. And you have to select right people to be in the mountain. Sometimes, you know, the outfitter may think that it is a business, but as a guide, I always honor the company. Now, as I am also, I also organize my own expedition, but also at the same time, I lead my team. I have the both responsibility. So first step as an outfitter or every other outfitters in Nepal or everywhere, what I suggest them is that when they choose clients, make sure they have a list of questions to ask to their clients. Don't be excited. Like in 2017, I had to reject 27 clients for Everest. They asked me, they sent me an email, and through the Instagram or Facebook Messenger or the email asking for the Everest climbing. And so I went through their experience, you know, what experience they have already, what mountain they have climbed, if they have done any training, any mountaineering training, you know, like, and they say, no, I have not this, I have not that, but I don't have time for training. I want to just climb Everest. And I was like, okay, that's too dangerous. You know, it's too dangerous for you. It is too dangerous for me as a guide, and it is too dangerous for my team who are involved in the expedition. So I gave them a long list of things to do. Like I say, okay, within 3 years, you have a training program. This is the first thing you do this, second thing you do that, and third you do this. Then finally, you're not yet ready. We still have to get like a doctor's report, medical report, saying that you are fit to go to the mountain. And so these are like quite a lot of details, you know, to follow. But really nowadays, Everest has become so popular because of, I think, the news and medias and so many records and things like that. For me, record is none of my kind of business, and I have no dream about setting a records. For me, we practice mountain as our goddess, our school, and our teacher, everything. Or part of our life, and also our like kind of like a second home, you know. And so we really want to, mountain has so much to give you. So you should to take that gift from the mountains. You just have to be prepared. And so there is the guide and the outfitter. These two individual has to be very good in selecting clients, and the company also need to be good at like providing the up-to-date weather forecast, because really nowadays, you know, with the modern technology, thank God to the technology, you can get up-to-date weather forecast, and there is like a you know, network for telephones or Wi-Fi. You can contact to your guide every day to stay updated for the weathers and any bad storms. Like for example, I was on a mountain just a week ago today. 1 week ago from today, I was climbing an 8,000-meter mountain, guiding there. We completed our acclimatization, and I checked the weather forecast. I contact my office how the weather forecast looks like. They said there is going to be 1 meter of fresh snowfall, and 1 meter, anything above 20 centimeters of snow, fresh snow on the mountain is very dangerous. So we instead of, you know, we wait for that bad weather, we decided to go to the summit much earlier. We had a little rest, but we still managed to summit on time, and we were able to escape before the storm came. So the communication between the guide and the company is so important, and yeah, and every single step we should remind our clients that the true summit is not the summit of the mountain. The true summit, again, is when you get back to home and see your family, share your experience.
Excellent, excellent. Yes. So there are a lot of work, a lot of responsibilities, because you're not only responsible for yourself, you're also responsible for other lives, right? And then so that's why it becomes more, you need to be selective. I understand that. So we go back to Professor Rafi. The second question, how can local community actually be involved in the risk management process to ensure that their knowledge and experience contribute to more effective, sustainable tourism practices?
Okay, thank you. It's a very valid questions. Now, in Malaysia, apart from these mountain climbing high-risk activities, there is a specific regulations under the Occupational Safety and Health Act. We call it CIMAH regulation. So CIMAH is actually stand for the Control of Industrial Major Accident Hazards. But this particular major accident hazard is actually referring to chemical substances, right? And in these regulations, it is mandatory to involve community participations in the emergency responses or in disaster management. So they have a very quite established regulations, standard operating procedures on how they are going to communicate with the communities. But I believe in mountain climbing activities in regards to the participation from the community, you know, nearby, it doesn't have a mandatory statutory requirements yet. And I believe, you know, when you talk about community, it is good to divide the community into 3 different groups. For example, the first community is community who live nearby the mountain area. So they are the one who actually knows better about the places, right? And could be they are also the first responder. Now the second community, perhaps also living in the rural area, is the one that who are actually involved in hiking activities. So they are hiking communities. And the third community, it could represent, you know, the mountain guide, right? The Malim Gunung Protan, the entry. So this community, they need to work in a team, right? And before we can go to that level, of course, when we want to do something, the community should be aware of the interests and also the risk that they are going to take. You know, as what Mr. Our champion in apa, 10D says that the true summit is when you go back to see your family, right? So if the community having zero knowledge about helping others, you know, in joining the rescue team, I think that would be really dangerous activity. To make it sustain, there should be a platform to develop a basic courses for the community that the the lead agency involved and identify whoever interested to join the community. Perhaps one day introduction for awareness, give basic terminology on mountain climbing, basic safety, rescue, things like that. And of course, a risk management is a must. Now, when our friend talking about fatality during climbing activities, now in safety, we have two different type of fatality that we assess the risk. If you have only one fatality, that is only a high risk situation that involve one fatality. But when you talk about multiple fatalities, we are talking about catastrophic, right? We are talking about catastrophic, and of course, when it involves catastrophic scenario, it will involve many things, and even the rescue activities or the rescue time period could be longer, right? And there must be certain coverage of compensation or insurance to whoever involved in this particular service activities. Just for example, as what you questioning me just now, it's all about the community involvement. Now, if there is no compensation, if there is not a good coverage, I think it's very hard for us to ask the community to join us, right? Even the mountain is just nearby their home, their houses, right? And this should be made something at the national level. I would guess so, because once there is a policy being made by the highest authority, I think people will start looking into it. So I want to be part of the community, right? As a community nearby, I'm responsible. Okay, I'm volunteer myself. Now people are talking about volunteerism, but I believe now volunteerism also got paid, right? So no money, no talk. Right? So that is my point. And to train, to teach this community, you need to have some a pot of money, I would say, right? And investing on this, and it is good investment because it will help the tourism industries, and the issues will spread out throughout the world. If you go to, for example, Malaysia, their community is well trained, and they have a very basic policy to support the community and to support the hikers, for example, to support the NGP, to support whoever interested in mountain climbing activity. So I think that would be very nice, and it can further sustain, at the end. Yeah, that's reflection to the questions.
Okay, so incentivize through policy. Yeah, because normally when there's nothing written, and then they will say it's not written anywhere. So yeah, I got nothing. Okay, so Ms. Zella, the second question for you: how prepared are Malaysian mountain guides in handling emergencies, and what role do they play in crisis management to ensure that safety of tourists while preserving the integrity of the mountain ecosystem?
Okay, thank you. Okay, how prepare our Malaysian mountain guides in handling emergencies? Okay, for NGPs, the Forestry Mountain Guide, we have 17 days of training in 3 courses. So I only managed to attend 2 only. The other one, next year. Okay. So far I'm pretty confident, but then yet to be tested. So okay, we undergo the basic first aid, and then how to handle venomous snake, venomous animals, and then water rescue. Mostly how to handle situation and emergency in rainforest, our mountain. So what role they play in crisis management? Okay, I still remember our trainers mostly from fire and rescue department, the bomber. So I still remember my trainer, my basic course, he told us why the forestry department invite the bomber, the fire. Because any emergency in the mountains, any hiking. They say we will call bomber, we will call fire, we call police, and then jejepam. So what this firemen or the smart team of Malaysia intend to teach us is when there's an emergency, they want a solid information from the Malay, from the guy. So it's not yang orang tolong datang, there's someone hurt here. No. When you communicate, we do have communication course, classes, how to be a radio amateur. So you have to provide the fire rescue team, the SAR team, exact location, the lab log, how to read the map, how to read the map, and then you cannot rely totally on your smartwatch. Sometimes no battery. Smartwatch got stupid battery. You have to know how to read the topo map. Very bad at math, so seriously, I'm having tough time. So, but I know it's important. So I need to know how to read the map, and then all the training. I was quite impressed with the training actually because it was tough, especially the lanjutan, the advanced one. 2 a.m. in the morning, the rescue, the smart team of Malaysia, down us in the river, and then give us specific bearing, go and find. You will find one tree, and then big trunk of tree, there will be your 100 for the night. So we will sleep at the tree at the night for the night. So my legal activity was very wondering, what am I doing to myself? Let's go to Swiss. We can see the mountains for a safe distance. I think actually this is something new. I just want to know what the forestry department up to, and then become addicted with all their trainings because very impressive and addicted. Okay, so what do they play in crisis management? So far, we do have a few accidents and courses, and I can see all the MGPs, the one that involved, they're doing very well so far because in with the legal background, I keep receiving call from the boss when news asking for legal advice, free legal advice, some more. So and then they involve me in postmortem. So I know how far our MGPs in this. So far they are doing very well, but all these things subject to in the future. We improve as
Okay, sounds promising. I mean, I will be safe when I will go to the forest with the MGP. Yeah, thank you. So the next question with for Mr. Azim, how can tourism business implement comprehensive emergency response training for staff to effectively manage potential safety incidents? Is there any safety incidents? And then how does this enhance tourist trust and satisfaction? But before you answer, can you please elaborate what does it mean by safety incident? Because for me, I don't get the idea, the point.
Okay, so one of the most important component is rescue. So like emergency response. So as we day by day, like maybe there is 100 people who are climbing or trekking mountains. Maybe 1, 2, or 3 or 4 cases of the emergency could occur. Same as our car. We have 4 tires on the road. Only 1 spare tire in the back. So for the emergency response of what we call as the safety incidents is we need to be prepared for the worst. So in Malaysia, I would see the movement of the MGP is a good move to make something as a SOP, as a standard. And now we have somebody with from Nepal, which is IFMGA. IFMGA needed 5 years to get certified as a IFMGA. They need to go through 3 years or 2 years and observation from the mountain guide. for 2 years as an aspirant guide. Once they have, they become we call trekking guides or national guide, then they need to go for the aspirant guide and 2 years of the observation from the full mountain guide. And then after 2 years, then they can go for final exam. And I believe IFMGA in Nepal costing is around 25,000 USD and is not funded at all, right? It's a fully self-funded. So that is in Nepal. So in Malaysia, MGP, we are very, very lucky to have fund from the government through the GBSM, Perhutanan, Forestry to train all the MGP. And with this fund, I believe the direction is also to move to align with the highest body of the mountain guide, which is IFMGA. So with all, if in the IFMGA, the emergency rescue or emergency response, safety incidents, preparation, leadership is all in the syllabus. So for like in Malaysia, we call for the MGP or all around the world, I would say lain padang, lain belalang. So not one method can fit all. So we need to stand on the ground, identify the hazards. What is the hazards for Malaysia? Maybe the terrain, maybe the helipad cannot go in, the heli is unable to land. So in Everest, the elevation. So in my experience, I have one loss climbers, one team members last year lost in Everest above the death zone, 8,000 meters, and one died nearly at the 8,200 meters. So that is we need to have the, what is the hazards? Even though there is a helicopter, the Nepal government regulations is fly zone, fly heights of the helicopter only 7,050 meters. And at the 7,000 meters, you are also not allowed to land. You can only go by the long line. And the long line is usually for alive, not for the dead body. So that is not one method will not fit all. So we need to identify what is the hazards first, so that the emergency response can act wisely, safely, because the risk of the rescuer is also a big one, but they are trained for that. And then when we want to develop of the training programs, basic life support, we always say like a CPR, and then first aid, and also now it's AED. But on the mountains, on the higher mountains in Malaysia, there will be a syllabus, the suitable syllabus for Malaysia. For above than 5,000 meters, there will be another methods. After 8,000 meters, there will be another method. So we need to customize accordingly to the place that we are going to operate. And then, of course, search and rescue procedure. This is also emergency response. So search and rescue in Nepal, there is no firefighter going to save you up on the mountains in Nepal. It is the government of Nepal, they put the responsibility to the operators. So the operators is the one who are responsible to make the search and rescue for the client that they are holding the permits. In Malaysia, I believe kita panggil abang bomba lah. We call bomba for rescue or Angkatan Pertahanan Awam Civil Defense, APM. So that is the practice that we do here. And in Malaysia, in Nepal, I would say they are already sustainable, means they are independent. The community know what if this happen, the operator will ask to another operator also to help. So they are already coordinated. So in Malaysia also we are already coordinated. Now we can have one more MGP to help the firefighters, and also we also can have the community. The community is orang asli. A long way back, I always track the mountains with orang asli, Pak Kasim and everything. Then now, of course, with the MGP, and this orang asli is the nearest to the place. They can also help on the emergency response. And then the evacuation drills. We need to understand when Kinabalu was hit. Kinabalu was hit 1 month after my team was hit by the earthquake in Nepal, 2015. That year, we are in 5 people. I just look at my team members and we said we die because everything is up and down, shaking, and then bottle ketchup, the ketchup on this one all gone. Then we don't have nowhere to run. As a Malaysians, the Sherpa said, run for your life. We try to run out, but eventually, if happen in Malaysia, we should be outside of the house, right? But we come back to the tent because we always thought the tent is safe for us. So we out, in, and we say, we gone. So the evacuation, we need to have like, if this is happen, how we want to evacuate a person from this mountain using which route, which is the nearest. So all this can be done pre-planned and can be improved from time to time. Having a helicopter, not necessarily safe. When we climb, we summit together on the Everest on the Tibet side, 2016. There is no helicopter allowed on the Tibet side. We bring our own doctors and we said, anything happen, we need to carry our own members. So, we also have need to have the communication protocols. There might be a satellite phone. From the satellite phone, you can send the information of your latitude and longitude. But if we are not used to operate, then the satellite phone is just a phone. So we need to have a skill of operating, like the communication, radio. We have the walkie-talkie. How to open, how to change the channel also, if we don't know, it just a radio. So that is some of the emergency response for the safety incident that we need on the mountains.
Okay, lots of training details needed for that. Yeah, so it's not only for the people or the climber, but also for people who works in the tour operators, in the guides, and then they need to train all the time, like refreshing again and again and again. Yes. Okay. And the second question for you. Okay. How can partnership with local authorities and communities enhance safety measure for tourists engaged in high attraction activities? And what role does this play in promoting sustainable tourism practice?
Yes, to share you my experience from Nepal, one of the most popular areas for tourism in Nepal is the Everest region, of course. And then the second one is the Annapurna region. These two areas are highly touristic area and very, very popular. And of course, the mountains are beautiful and it's closer from our capital city as well, not that far away. And those are the areas where you see like a bigger mountains as well. And these areas, from my experience, is like we have this local government in the region. The local government also works so hard because tourism in Nepal is one of the most important part of the economy. That's why nowadays more and more the local government are giving priority. And they also collect a certain amount of fees for the local government, and local government invest those collected fees into developing safe trail, larger trail, and bridges, and small hydroelectricity, and also we have a national park. Most of the areas we have a national park. And national park rangers, they take care of like the environment and everything. And so the local government and national park, they work together to protect the environment and also to develop the local infrastructure. And then we have this local tea houses, especially in like Everest regions. They are well developed. They have all sort of comforts and everything, and people are good in communication skill with the tourists, and they are also very good and aware of the hygiene for food and everything. Now, we're trying to focus on less visited areas of Nepal, because we have still there are so many places to do our trekking, and it's still very beautiful regions. And we as a mountain guide are trying to promote those areas which are like a less touristic, to try to promote the local economy, to support the local economy, and also promote the new destination for the tourism. And but at the same time, it's for the new areas is not very easy because they're very new to the tourism, and we have to give them many different sort of training, like especially about the hospitality and about the hygiene and all these things. So it's still working hard on that with the local government. And we in Nepal, we still have so many political groups. Sometimes there is a political issues also that always hampers the business. But so far they are trying their best, to try to do it. And we continue as a guide. We continue to explore new mountains, always focusing on the local economy.
The local government supporting new tracks, let's say,
exactly,
and to develop and also to engage more local community.
Yes, and like back in the days, if we talk about the Annapurna Round trekking, the Annapurna Round about 25 years ago used to be one of the most attractive trekking destinations in Himalayas. Whereas now they have built the road all the way up to the bottom of the mountain, and the road has absolutely destroyed the tourist attraction. The mountains is there, but the problem is that road, people have to walk on the road, and we have been requesting the local government to try to find a second alternatives. Why should tourists walk on the road? There is always a possibility to build a small walking trail through the forest or maybe through the ridges, where they can have a very good view. And so the local government has been more supportive on that than the central government. So we're working much more closely with the local government to try to develop a trail that are broken. And people really appreciate having a road and the jeep in front of their house, but also at the same time they lost a lot of tourism, a lot of business through that.
Yes, understand. Well, it's always like that. We need to adapt. Again, tourism is about adapting.
Exactly.
The growing of tourism also giving, it's a two side of coin, benefits or the other negative impacts.
Yes.
So back to your side, Professor, last question for you. I'm not sure with the time. Do we still have time? Oh, so you only have one minute to answer, each of you, and then so we can give the question to the floor. Okay, what are the main challenge faced by the Malaysian tourism sector in embedding risk assessment into practice? And what would be the role of government, private sector, NGO, and communities to ensure mountain management is safe and sustainable?
Okay, this is my personal opinion. To get whoever you said this now sit together and involved doing something is quite difficult. Okay, but somehow or other, I believe that this can be done through more grants. So we are actually establishing a new mountain guide risk assessment and management, and this could be shared by several agencies like Jabatan Hutan, right, Forest Department, Tourism Department, as well as the Fire and Rescue Department, and also not to forget the higher education institution. So we need to sit down together and look at what we should do for the betterment of the mountain climbing activities, right? And I believe that once we develop the guidelines, once it became a policy, I think everyone should aware about the policy and try to obey whatever has been said, and hopefully it can be one of the attractions in high risk activities in safely managed.
Thank you very much, Prof. And last question for Ms. Zella. What are the government or non-government policies do you see needed for mountain guides to protect themselves against potential liabilities? And how can these policies support sustainable tourism by ensuring accountability and safety?
As to date, as far as I'm concerned, there is no law to protect the mountain guide. No, the only law I can remember is the one that protect the government servant, the PAPA, Public Authority Protection Act. So if anything happens, they sue the government, they sue the JPSM, they will have the PAPA. But we, the mountain guide, nothing. So that's why just now Mr. Azim mentioned Pak Kasim, the natives, the orang asli used to be guide. This also for the record is NGP. So why Pak Kasim is so old-timer interested to be to be one of the NGPs? The reason is now it's compulsory for anyone to trek in the reserve mountain for the NGP, and second is actually the protection. So as NGP now, we are protected. We have SOXO. I'm not sure other mountain guide do they have the SOXO, but then for NGP, yes, we have the SOXO. And then they even sponsored most of it, 90%. So we just only have to pay 23 ringgit out of 200 something. Okay, second one, we have insurance. Okay, not professional indemnity insurance. That one, I think we are in the midst of drafting. We try to draft an insurance to protect the NGP in case they get sued for negligence or something. But we do have insurance for free in case anything happen, and I'm just lucky enough to be the NGP of Pahang because my state Pahang, they also sponsor our insurance. So I was issued with the insurance card and then complete with the logo of state of Pahang free. So thank you, state of Pahang. So this one, if anything happens to me, either I'm guiding someone or anything, just if anything happens to me while I hike,
you are insured.
I insured.
Okay.
So I think we are still learning and improving. We are just 5 years old, but it's something. Now we have protection, but it's something.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good to hear that. And the last question for Mr. Azim. Mechanism can be established to gather feedback from tourists regarding safety experiences during high attraction activities. And how can this information be used to improve safety protocols and enhance the overall sustainability of tourism?
From my view is the communication must be made. I believe all the operators didn't communicate with others, or very less they are communicating. Let's say, example in Everest, there is a expedition out expedition outfitters association. So all the company owner that is operated at Everest is the members of the EOA. So in Everest, from the base camp to camp 2, is the fixed line is made is fixed by the SPCC at Sagarmatha Pollution Community Control. From the camp 2 to the summit is elected by the EOA. So the operators itself, they will have the tender who will fix the rope to the summit. By doing that, all of the operators is taking the responsibility together. There is a time also from Tech Nepal, let's say, they also will send maybe 1 or 2 Sherpa to help to fix the rope. So it can be a check and balance. So I would say in Malaysia, maybe we can look as a one check and balance to improve. We can get the feedback so many ways. WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat, email, but how we want to process that data. So we have one association, this is among the company, to make better and better, and the government as what we call neutralize, means neutral ground. They will see like if they need to go in for some matters, then they are in, they will give their power and everything. The operation for the operators, the EOA as a what we call check and balance. So same like to the MGP, we can go also to the check and balance of the NMGA, Nepal National Mountain Guide Association. Let's say like Tendidai. So this is can be a check and balance when Malaysia become the observer or the members of the FMGA treaty. So everything, how to improve, we need to have some of the check and balance so that everything is in place, and this check and balance not to find fault. You are wrong. I'm only the right man, right person, right. So we need to have one dot that we are the same, and we move forward to make better of the mountain guide, mountain climbing, and the operators.
Okay, that sounds excellent. Yeah, if everything works perfectly. Okay, last question for Mr. Tandy. In general, what are the top 3 aspects will you advise mountain climbers, hikers, and tourists to support and ensure mountain climbing remains attractive? Not for me. Even though you pay for me, no, thank you. And contribute to sustainable tourism. Or let's say, try to convince me, and then so I can go with you to Everest with 3 years training.
Well, the first thing is, when you think about climbing mountains, you got to be mentally and physically prepared. That's a very important, because sometimes people have a lot of money, but they're not prepared. So, and the money cannot buy you a summit. So if you are mentally and physically prepared, then there is, this can ensure your safety and maybe your success to the summit. So yeah, this is important, and while doing this, also the proper acclimatization to climb a mountain is so important. For example, if you are going to climb a Kinabalu, it's the same thing. You can't underestimate any mountains. Mountains, when you are at the foot of mountains are way bigger than you. That's why we have to respect that, and we have to listen to the mountains. Mountain always wants to tell you something, and you just have to carefully listen to it. It doesn't mean that you can speak each other, but you have to observe the mountain and to see what you are getting from the mountain. So for example, let's say your body is already tired, but you still want to give a challenge, or you want to go to the summit the same day. No, if you're tired, you have to stop and you have to wait and acclimatize. You make sure that you sleep well, you eat well, and you feel well at night. And so the proper acclimatizations is so important, and that's how you enjoy the mountain. And because sometimes people underestimate also like the weather. If they say the storms is coming or bad weather is coming, they always say, okay, I can get it done in 2 hours and I'm done. I will do it before it storm. That's sometimes very dangerous because it is always mountains. You won't have the same physical conditions every year, every time. So you have to be very prepared, and you should not ignore giving up. I mean, when it's time, when you know that you should turn back, you should turn back. You should not continue for your safety. And this will also set a good example for the other people, So practice mountain well, always good acclimatization. And the second thing is to protect environment. We in Nepal, like nowadays, we get for all the mountain guides, we how do you say, compulsory training or leave no trash. So we should teach that the mountain guide should be aware of that ethics of leave no trash, but also at the same time, we should educate our clients and community about the environment protection. That's very, very, very important. And the third is like, always try to respect the local belief, local traditions, and work closely with the local people to make, to last this tourism attraction longer, and to always continue working on that field. Yeah, and to create a good public relations always.
Nice. Thank you for the motivation. I will think about it. Okay, so I think we have how many minutes left? We run out of time, so I'm so sorry we cannot have any question from the audience. However, our speakers are still here, so you can grab them after this, and then just talk, chat, networking, get the numbers, email address, and please continue to networking. Thank you very much for the insightful information and education for us, because for me, this is a very valuable information and education, and very interesting. And I will quote something from Tendi saying, money cannot buy summit. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Good afternoon.
What an inspiring session. Our heartfelt gratitude to the formidable panel for sharing their expertise and insights on achieving sustainable mountain management. I would now invite Ms. Maulita to present a token of appreciation to the speakers. Firstly, Associate Professor Muhammad Rafi Baharuddin. Ms. Sela Azni Nazihan. Mr. Azim Afif. And last but not least, Mr. Tandy Sherpa. Let's commemorate the session with a group photo. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Give them another round of applause. We will now break for 15 minutes before reconvening in this hall at 3:45 p.m. for the policy dialogue session. Light refreshments are served in the foyer outside the hall behind you, as well as to your right, to your left. Thank you and enjoy.
Hi, I'm Uchok. So I'm the worker in Janda Baik Goat Farm. So Janda Baik Goat Farm is located in Kampung Janda Baik, Pahang. So what we do here, we sell goat milk. So our goat milk is good for those who are lactose intolerant. We have around 250 goats here. So here we can show you how you can raise a goat. We can show you how to milk the goat, and then we can feed the goats here.
They keep it like this they mix the soya bean with yeast until it grow, turn to this white color, and then after that we can just cut it and fry and then eat with rice and sambal. That's all the process. So they produce two types of tempeh. One is for this one for snack, and this one is for the meal side dishes. Okay.
Hi, I'm Lisa from the Lemuni Janda Baik, Malaysia. Lemuni is actually a herbs from the North Malaysia, and over here there is 6 acres. We have about 7 building from the Rumah Kayu. Rumah Kayu is actually wood house from the Terengganu. We bring it here, and it's also a cafe where we serve a traditional Malay food, and we practice a sustainability. That means we use a solar for the lights. We plant our fruits, our vegetables, and also in terms of water, we also drill our own water supply.
Fauna, we have a 10 ecosystem, one only in Malaysia, actually in situ.
The uniqueness of Situ Wetland State Park is that we are close with community. The only state park that receive visitors to enjoy the nature.
What we are doing right now, the sustainable tourism, we are working closely with district office and also Majlis Daerah to support the product that we have. From our boardwalk, we prolong it to our community. The visitors, the audience can get local products from Situ Wetland, so that the community can give back and also get back on nature products.
Dia ada dekat Pulau Busung. Sebenarnya kat Pulau Busung ni, ini adalah checkpoint untuk cari lokan. Dekat sini dia ada 2 spesies lokan. Normally kita ada lokan lumpur dan juga longkang pasir. Actually this package I have 3 element. For the one element is education. So education for the mangrove, education for the flora and fauna. Second is element is fun. So and then the third element is historical.
One of our main or our aim is to help the local community here to highlight their traditional knowledge and also empower them to do education tourism. So we train them to be a wetland teacher where they teach people that come, the visitors that come to the sensitive wetland, not only about the nature in sensitive wetland, but also the part on heritage, the part on livelihood of the people here.
Okay, so this is the filling of the sata. We have fish, and then onion, garlic, and this is asam.
In a lot of places in Malaysia, in other words, the local community just be the people that see the development of tourism, but they do not get anything from the industry. So we emphasize that local community should be benefit from the tourism.
Whatever UNDP and doing it right now, I think it's a good effort. It's a good platform with the communities, NGOs, government agency to sustain not only tourism, ecotourism, but nature itself.
Laka di dalam projek pelancongan lestari di bawah UNDP ni bukan sekadar menyediakan kertas kerja atau laporan di peringkat awalan dan juga interim, tetapi mereka juga adalah sebagai koordinator yang mengurus dan memastikan projek ini berada di landasan yang betul supaya target-target kita tercapai, KPI kita ditepati. Jadi dengan adanya projek ni, kita dah ada produk kita sendiri dan juga kita ada pertambahan jumlah pengusaha dalam suatu penghasilan kraft dan juga melibatkan kaum wanita.
Dari segi pengeluaran produk, kalau nak compare daripada dulu, of course saya buat seorang, sangat limited, tak dapat hasilkan dengan banyak. Tapi dengan sokongan daripada UNDP, saya dapat membuka peluang pekerjaan kepada golongan-golongan yang memerlukan seperti wanita ataupun anak-anak muda untuk turut membantu dari segi penghasilan. Jadi of course saya dapat hasilkan dengan lebih banyak dan juga dengan lebih berkualiti.
Kemahiran baru yang saya dapat selepas bersama dengan Rumah Batik adalah dapat peralatan-alatan yang lebih banyak, lebih baik. Jadi saya daripada hasilkan produk yang home base, saya dah boleh explore untuk menghasilkan produk yang lebih banyak. Di samping explore bahan-bahan yang lebih baru, penggunaan daun yang berbeza, warna-warna yang lebih banyak lah untuk menghasilkan produk yang lebih baik.
Batik alternatif ini, dia tidak menggunakan chemical yang akan merosakkan alam sekitar. Jadi dia adalah penghasilan yang zero waste, sifar pembaziran dan juga sifar penggunaan chemical. So dia akan menyumbang kepada kelestarian alam sekitar.
Saya tak terbayang yang saya satu hari boleh jadi artisan dan boleh menghasilkan produk-produk sebegini. Dan antara pencapaian saya bersama Rumah Batik baru-baru ini telah memenangi award sebagai seorang suri rumah. Saya tak sangka melalui Rumah Batik saya dapat go to a greater length dan dapat exposure sebeginilah.
Visi kami sedikit sebanyak telah dibantu oleh projek ini yang merupakan asas atau foundation yang mana membantu kami untuk menyediakan fasiliti ini secara fizikal dan juga digital dengan lebih teratur supaya memberi peluang dan ruang kepada pengusaha yang ada dan juga pengusaha yang lain supaya mereka dapat sustain di masa yang akan datang.
Saya perkenalkan diri saya dulu. Nama saya Ahmad Firdaus bin Syed Omar. Saya merupakan setiausaha kepada Mersing Tourism Association dan saya ingin memperkenalkan Mersing kepada anda semua. Tourism benefits to the local more than the foreigner. Bahasa Melayunya, pelancongan ni memberikan pulangan yang baik kepada lokaliti berbanding dengan orang-orang asing yang datang. Sepatutnya komuniti menjadi sumber utama daripada segi perkhidmatan untuk memastikan pelancongan menjadi sumber pendapatan. Dan saya rasa bertepatan dengan apa yang UNDP cuba bawa.
Bila saya cuba kerja dekat petrol pump tu, saya punya confident tu agak kurang lah. Sebab orang macam pandangan nak, oh budak macam ni kerja macam ni je lah. Tapi Encik Firdaus boleh nampak kebolehan saya. Jadi di situ saya rasa macam, oh sebenarnya orang yang ada kat OKU ni pun boleh kerja macam orang-orang normal. Boleh diberi peluang untuk kerja dalam bidang-bidang yang mengenai tourism apa semua ni. Untuk permulaan ni, saya bermula sebagai graphic designer dan content creator lah. Saya buat design-design baju, saya akan buat design-design untuk kitchen dan juga kalau kita ada pergi event, mungkin saya akan buat design untuk backdrop event tersebut.
Saya melihat ada sikit keceriaan kepada penduduk. Kalau dahulu mereka hanya dapat satu hari upah RM4 sahaja untuk memasak dari ejen pelancongan, tetapi sekarang mereka dah jadi pemilik kepada syarikat aktiviti selam scuba. Mereka sendiri yang bawa pelancong untuk menyelam. Jadi daerah Mersing ni diurus sendiri oleh anak-anak Mersing sendiri.
Antara sebab utama saya pilih Mersing sebagai lokasi pendidikan saya adalah kerana saya nampak Mersing ni mempunyai potensi dalam bidang pelancongan. Kerana apa? Mersing ni mempunyai banyak pulau-pulau yang cantik yang sangat berdekatan dengan Mersing, di antaranya Pulau Besar, Pulau Tioman dan Pulau Au. Selepas saya dapat sokongan padu daripada Mersing Tourism Association sendiri dan juga pihak UNDP sendiri, alhamdulillah hasil daripada latihan dan juga sokongan padu tu saya dapat kenaikan gaji antaranya 5,000 sehingga ke 8,000.
Perkara ini dikawal melalui mitos, jadi setiap ejen perlu memasukkan data. Jadi dari segi pengkalan data, jumlah pelancong yang datang ke Mersing pun kami boleh dapat statistik dari negara mana. Kemudian dari segi perancangan masa hadapan pun kami boleh buat dengan jumlah statistik yang ada. Kita dari pihak kerajaan bersama dengan pihak UNDP, kita akan bagikan apa kemahiran. Contohnya kita dah bagi mereka kemahiran bahasa Inggeris. Kita dah bagi mereka latihan yang berkaitan dengan kaedah snorkeling supaya tidak merosakkan kita punya terumbu karang.
Dia punya impact selepas latihan ni sangat memberi kesan yang sangat bagus dan hebat pada saya sebab saya boleh berkomunikasi secara baik dengan pengunjung di dalam negara dan juga di luar negara dengan confident.
Kutip sampah mudah, simpan itu lebih mudah. Tetapi cabarannya ialah apakah mesin yang kita nak gunakan supaya kita dapat recycle kembali. Daripada plastik boleh menjadi souvenir dan cenderamata. Daripada cenderamata boleh dibawa pulang, boleh dikongsikan. Rasa rindu, rasa kasih, rasa ingatan kepada seluruh keluarga yang sedang menanti di rumah.
mangrove, boardwalk, recreational activities, and also
Makcik lahir di sini ni, umur sini. Sini. 10 bulan 8, 48. Makcik kahwin umur 17. Muda. Kami orang susah, pok saya tukar ama. Masuk hutan, gaji kayu lah buat ama. Lepas tu orang suruh cari kayu, kami cari. Makcik ikut Ikut masuk hutan. Gaji kayu, tolong. Apa saja buat. Kerja kampung. Gotong, tanam halia, tanam padi. Tanah lah. Dah kami lahir sini, besar sini. Kahwin sini, anak semua ada sini. Tanah lah. Pacak tak takut makcik. Memang pacak banyak. Pindah dalam hutan. Ini arwah pakcik selalu pergi. Daripada kecil ni kau. Dan direct. Buat pinggan. Pinggan buat lemang. Buat lemang. Makcik dah ingat lagi lah. So dalam makcik, time apa makcik 6 tahun ke berapa tahun. Merdeka tu. Merdeka mula-mula tu. Dia pun buat kena rayakan dia pun lembu. Kami pergi ke Kelantan, orang kampung pun pergi. Dia ingat lah lagi. Jalan kat ni lah tu buang. Macam mana ya? Berjalan lebih. Jalan kaki.
Kaki Bukit. Dulu lah, kira 1970 tahun, lebih kurang, semua pun buat timah. 90%. Nah, pasal itu macam dia timah harga cantik. Nah, 1 kilo boleh dapat 3 kilo. Rumah saya sini kaki bukit ya. Saya memang anak kaki bukit. Saya sekarang kerja yang gerak. Lagi saya buat apa? Itu hikingnya, itu laluan banyak. Banyak kuah saya pun banyak. Kuah pun dekat 10. Kalau saya tak minat, saya tak boleh jalan sampai hari ini. Kalau saya tak minat, panggil masuk kuah saya pun mau. Betul ya? You minat, you baru satu orang you pun mau. Saya budak sudah ikut papa mah. You tahu lah, saya umur 5-6 papa pergi buat ini timah kan. Sama mama saya pun ada ikut. Selalu sudah sampai itu bukit Dia orang buat makan 1 minggu itu makan habis. Saya ikut papa turun beri makan, naik lagi. Saya betul-betul minatnya. Jangan tahu ya kalau dia orang kena korek kan dia mesti warna tanahnya. Dia tak. Bukan susah, bahaya. Dia senang mati. Pasal dia orang pakai tangan, dia orang macam mana tahu dalam sini boleh sambung sana ada timah. Saya yang kira yang paling kuat mengenal saya pun tak tahu dia orang kenapa boleh tahu ini sebesar. Ini you yang senang nggak? Bukit besar you mana boleh tahu sana ada timah? Dah, ini bukan senang.
Ni gua ni memang ada pernah jumpa kambing. Dulu ah.
Tapi saya mungkin ada lah. Dulu saya balik mesti ada ni. Selalu mari dia dekat.
Oh, sini kambing apa tu? Tahu tak apa? Dia suka jilat ni batu ah. Garam.
Oh, ada garam.
Jilat ada garam.
Tak tahu.
Tak lihat apa.
Ini lagi main. Tuan sudah kenal tu buah.
Buah mana tu? Boleh makan tak? Makan? Boleh makan. Tapi tak tahu apa jadi.
Nah. Dia pakai kaki.
Dia tapak dia.
Nampak?
Besar sangat tu.
Ini tua yang kambing.
Tak besar sangat. Okey ya, boleh lah. Dia sebenarnya masuk hutan masa kecil. Masa tu ada satu trail. Trail ni orang kampung guna untuk bawa kambing. Saya cukup suka trail. Cantik. Kadang-kadang pergi seorang-seorang tanpa pengetahuan siapa-siapa kan. Kita curious nak tengok apa yang ada dalam hutan. Tapi bila dah dewasa ni, curious dia lebih kepada nak tahu apa yang uniknya dalam hutan. Bila Mai 2015, that time terdetik di hati kata nak kalau boleh kita share kecantikan ni kepada lokal, bagi lokal tahu. Aku share up page tu dekat Police Nature and Wildlife tu untuk educate lokal, bagi lokal faham macam mana kita tengok sebagai lokal, kita nak lokal tengok macam mana kita tengok juga. Bila kita buat research sikit, kita tahu Wang Kelian ni ada spesies primat yang unik, kan, buruk kentai yang tak ada tempat lain. The only place in Malaysia that kita boleh jumpa buruk kentai hanya di Perlis dan di Wang Kelian. Primat kita sendiri. Tapi bila kita cari maklumat, tak banyak yang ada. So that's why kita post pasal kentai and then dapat perhatian ramai. Tapi salah seorang dia Ayub. Ayub ni lokal Wang Kelian lah. Kita pun tak kenal dia siapa. Dia kata, Min, saya tahu kat mana buruk kentai. Masuk habis dalam kampung, dia tunjuk habis kampung-kampung Wang Kelian tu. Apa yang ada, rupanya cantik sebenarnya. Kita dah ingat macam, kita ikut main road dan kita tak nampak apa di sebalik hutan tu. Bila masuk, kita tengok, memang macam-macam ada. Mula daripada situ hubungan jadi baik. Dia duk report selalu, ada kentai kat mana-mana. Sampai jadi kawan rapat, bawa balik rumah, kami kenal dengan Mak Milah. Dulu masa Ayub masih ada, dia ada bagi tahu tentang buyung. Kata mak dia jumpa buyung dekat gua. Tapi bila dah dia tak ada, saya pergi tanya Amzah lah. Amzah kata ada, Amzah tunjuk buyung. Comel je, besar ni. Dia kata Mak Milah jumpa dalam gua. Bila tanya gua kat mana, dia cuma kata gua kat belakang ni. Tapi dia dengan Ayub tak pernah sampai gua tu. Mak tak pernah bawa dia. Bawa ni saja pergi melawat museum. Kebetulan terpandang satu buyung yang macam lebih kurang macam Amzah tunjuk dulu. Yang Mak Milah punya. So macam, teringat balik lah nak cari kan. So that's why pergi cari Mak Milah. Minta izin dia lah untuk kita tahu kawasan tu.
Tahu tekok tak ada lagi. Tahu dalam umur ni.
60-an?
50 tahun. No.
Lebih kurang.
Yang jumpa kan. Mak tu mak muda. Mak anak tu 19 mak
muda lagi. Pergi gua tu nak cari baja.
Baja depa baja sana sikit ni jadi farmer kat ni.
ada
Bukan pamor pun jadi penting kuat lah ni. Jadi gini ya.
Faham. Dia jadi macam rock shelter, tempat perlindungan tau. Dia
Ya,
duduk
betul
situ.
lah.
Dia berteduh pada hujan, berteduh pada binatang buas.
Kami pun heran.
Dia akan duduk depan tu lah.
Pokoknya
Siapa yang duduk situ dulu?
dia kulit siput banyak tu, siapa yang makan?
Betul lah.
Kami pun dah heran dulu. Tapi heran macam tu lah kan.
Ya.
Siapa main dulu ni? Duduk di gua ni.
Boleh tunjuk tempat? Jalan masuk?
Bukit saja.
Tak apa lah. Tepi jalan tak apa. Memang ada ciri-ciri penempatan zaman dulu lah. Sebab rock shelter, kebanyakannya manusia prasejarah ni dia suka duduk dekat rock shelter. Dia takkan duduk dalam gua, gelap. Ataupun pengudaraan tak ada. Tapi kita tak boleh nak confirm buyung tu adakah daripada prasejarah kah, ataupun diletakkan di situ kah, ataupun apa-apa saja kemungkinan selagi kita tak dapat bukti.
Ikut cantik.
Satu ikut.
Ikut. Tengok bayang tu. Pergi bukit tu. Tengok ni jalan ni. Jalan kat tu.
Ni jalan ni tak ada.
Tak ada baru nak buat. Ayak mah.
Ni ayak ni.
Tengok ni jemput cantik tu ada pamor tu.
Sekolah sini sampai tingkatan 1. Lepas tu 1 bulan pergi kerja. Pasal dulu saya pun betul saya ABC pun tak tahu macam mana naik tingkatan. Ni tahu saya pun malu kecil lagi payah. Kita pun selalu penting sini. Tahu, tapi bukan satu orang satu geng. Angkat pasika sana serupa pergi sekolah besing sini. Masuk sini. Tapi selalu kena tangkap sini. Pasal cikgu semua sudah tahu ni tempat. Tapi kerja pun tak rugi ni, tahu kenapa? Kita kerja saya pun wireman tahu ya. Ada per 10 tahun. Tapi saya jahat itu macam ada yang tahu yang suka kita. Kita selalu tolong, biar ada apa kau kita tolong. Kau kita tolong dia kasih view cari makan minyak lubang. Tengok saya semua ni kena pisau ya. Saya kasih tengok saya belakang semua pisau ya. Itu hari saya pun kalau tak nasib lagi kurang 3 minit sampai tu hospital mati. Salah semua sudah tak ada. Tapi tak gunanya. Dulu kita tak tahu jalan salah. Tapi saya nak tanya 10 tahun lain kali mau kerja tak tahu kerja apa. Tak boleh macam ni. Ini kalau muda you kerja ini mesti mati. Saya pun ada kasih saya punya anak tahu yang mana boleh yang mana tak boleh. Jangan kasih dia serupa kita jalan salah. Dulu kita tak ada belajar, orang tak ada cakap, kita tak tahu. Saya kasih tahu, wang bukan kuat punya barang tau. Kuat kita yang buat sekarang kita hidup, buat punya barang kasih yang anak ikut. Kasih itu anak-anak lain kali dia orang senang. Kita macam ni kita perlu benang. You ada you sendiri atau uang, atau guna you tak ada tolong orang. Kita budak saya selalu masuk kuat, kalau you tak kasih tahu, dia berangkat itu barang. You kasih tahu dia tak angkat. Kasih tahu ini you tak boleh angkat. Saya cakap kalau you ambil, okey, serupa orang biasa buat ambil, ini ambil, dia ambil, dia ambil, dia ambil. Tiap-tiap hari orang balik ambil, saya nak tanya 10 tahun kita punya barang ambil. Kita mau jaga saja. Bukan cakap dia mahal ke tak mahal, bukan. Kalau you budak kan you tak kasih tahu, dia ingat betul yang serupa kita. Lain kali suruh besar baru cakap surah lambat. Sekarang cakap kamu boleh tolong jaga.
Ya, kita dah jumpa seorang orang kampung ni dekat Bang Kelian. Dia tunjuk kat kita satu macam buyung lah, buyung kecil. Buyung tu dia jumpa masa umur dia 23 tahun. During 70s macam tu. Kemudian dia jumpa buyung tu depan gua. Kami pergi tengok di museum. Ada dia nak macam ala Neolitik tapi dia rasa macam bukan juga sebab mulut dia lain sikit. Kemudian macam tak tahu nak confirm lah kan sebab area tu area Wang Kelian. Wang Kelian pun tak pernah orang nak explore sangat.
Okey, sebabnya kat Pesta Angin Timur ni kami ada grup daripada arkeologi nanti akan turun Sabah.
Cantik.
Nanti saya boleh nak bisik-bisikkan juga kalau juga ada kelemahan
Rezeki kita, operator museum, Puan Siti Munirah introduce kita dekat Encik Ardi daripada warisan, Jabatan Warisan. Kebetulan mai sini untuk Pesta Angin Timur. So kami pun decide buat mini expedition lah. Atas pokok ada bird. Tengok kecil. Serius, Papa nampak bird masuk dalam pokok tu tadi. Ada bird dalam pokok tu. Kadang-kadang tu badan dah kotor kan, balik pada hutan. Kita pun jadi macam, Papa ni kena mandi dulu kan. Tapi tak sampai hati tengok duk tunggu depan pintu kan. Dukung juga lah budak-budak tu. So kakak ni, yang Melissa ni, setakat yang kita tengok dia minat gajah. Selalu sikit-sikit elephant. Yang adik ni tak tahu apa lagi, umur 10 bulan. Tapi kadang-kadang tengok adik ni macam slow loris. Padahal mata bulat besar. Cara dia bangkok macam slow loris. Tapi kita tak boleh lah samakan anak kita dengan haiwan. Dulu kan, masa belum ada anak, Pakatan Risau tu ada sikit lah. Tapi bila dah dapat anak, benda tu dah memang berubah. Bila masuk hutan, rasa macam, kalau jadi apa-apa kat aku, anak aku masih kecil tau. Tapi ni bukan hobi, ni passion dan kita dah mula rasa tanggungjawab. I have to do this. Tak tahu lah, macam ada something yang push untuk, Syamil buat macam ni. Maybe from my experience sebagai seorang anak tunggal yang mungkin tak ada bapa kan. Memang saya tak kenal siapa bapa. Mungkin orang lain boleh ada bapa yang boleh bawa pergi ke like fun fair ke or somewhere else. Tapi macam tak ada benda yang nak buat. So macam dia bila masuk hutan tu rasa tenang.
Tourism Productivity Nexus, Miss Maulita Sarihani, Senior Project Specialist, Tourism for Rural Development Program, World Tourism Organization UNTourism, and Professor Dr. Amran Hamzah, Tourism Planning, University of Technology Malaysia, Johor.
Without further ado, I will now hand over to Ms. Manon to begin the dialogue. Please join me in welcoming her.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's working. Thank you very much and a very good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be back for the closing. You know, I'm the deputy of UNDP, so I'm used to having the closing role. And I know it's hard because the level of energy is lower. But I would say this is the last, but surely not the least panel, because we have four actually very knowledgeable, esteemed panelists, which I think will bring us to bringing the whole day together and looking at the strategy and what needs to happen to really bring all of us together towards Visit Malaysia 2026. As we discussed today, during all the different sessions, we can see that sustainable tourism is slowly penetrating all the different spheres at the local level, the government level, in the industry level. Academia is starting to generate data as well, so we can take better informed policy making. So it's a very good step to see. But we know that there are still a lot of challenges. All of us know that there's still a lot of people to convince. It requires still a lot of coordination. So since Visit Malaysia 2026 will really provide an opportunity to scale up action, and I think this is what most of the stakeholders are asking. To improve coordination and drive more investment and sustainable investment in local scalable solution
to address the long-term social, economic, and environmental impact of tourism. So this is what this policy dialogue will discuss. We will try to uncover the strategies for the nation as it heads towards hosting the World Tourism Day 2025, as well as Visit Malaysia 2026. What's behind, what do we need to do to actually really showcase Malaysia, I would say, on its best face in 2025 with the World International Day and in 2026. So we also want to make it very interactive. I understand that most of the parallel sessions were, there was a lot of questions and a lot of interaction. So even if it's the last session, we've agreed that I will only ask one question to start with to get us to warm up a little bit, and then open for the floor for questions. So please keep your question, get ready to engage, so we make it a useful and relevant 1 hour and engaging altogether. So let me first start by talking to Mr. Sharin Mokhtar. Okay, we'll start with you, who's the Senior Director of Strategic Planning, Tourism, Malaysia. So the question, the focus of the question is regarding government policy and Malaysia's strategy for sustainable tourism. So we know that sustainable tourism is a new definition. Like, we use it probably in this room, we're familiar with it, but it's not everyone who is still aware of what it exactly means. It starts to be used a little bit everywhere, but what does it mean exactly? It's part of the 12 Malaysia Plan midterm review, and it's part of aspiration towards Malaysia Year 2026 and Agenda 2030. How does Tourism Malaysia promote and link between the national policy and involves the industry in decision-making process related to development tourism, to really make sure that it's a concerted effort and it brings the voices of all the stakeholders together?
Thank you. Basically, for me, sustainable tourism is a new word used now in the term, but those days we used to call it green tourism.
Green tourism, yeah.
Green tourism, and then even I'm telling my grandma's story again. Basically, in the old days, I remember my late grandma. I think she practiced the sustainability, recycle things, and zero waste. If you remember your late grandmother or your mom, they recycle everything, they use everything, and even they buy bottles and then they reduce it back. And then even for the waste of when we have the waste of food, they will feed to the chicken or to the ducks and all that. So everything is fully utilized. But when the modern day come, and then replaced by plastic, blah blah blah. So this practice become less known, and now we are talking it back. And I think this is the right time, because now I think people are realizing this is important. And for us, Tourism Malaysia, because we are the one that are going to do it. We are the marketing arm of the Ministry of Tourism. So basically, what we do is that we have to sell it to the public, and then basically we have to to persuade them and for them to buy. Because if this stakeholder doesn't buy in this thing, it will not happen. And to make them buy in, you have to show that if you practice this, basically there's some profit on it. So you can get betterment in terms of your life, in terms of your economic benefit and all that. That's why you always when we do something overseas, that we always focus on the community-based tourism, so that the money, the economic will trickle down. So this is important. And then with the pre-pandemic, basically in post-pandemic, I mean, for me, pandemic is a blessing, because now you can see that the travel pattern is changing, and people are realizing that we need to sustain. And then the traveling pattern change. Now people do slow tourism and then responsible tourists and all that. So this is good for us, and it's easy for us then to sell to the public. And they also realize that it's important, because of they have gone through COVID, and they know that sustainable is important. So basically, and then this is the basically what I see here from sustainable tourism. Basically, I see it as coconut. So the whole the whole thing is under sustainable tourism, and then inside the flash is the nature-based tourism (NDT), and ecotourism. I look at it as they say this coconut apple. I look at the translation. Malay call it tumbul, but it's very nice. So that's how I look into sustainable tourism. So this is the definition, and you can read yourself. But the second slide, please. Okay. What we do is that we base all our policies. I mean, all our activities and promotional activities based on the National Ecotourism Plan that is until 2025, and then NTP until 2030, and then of course we have the UN Agenda 2030. So basically what we do is that when we do our planning and we get the feedback from the stakeholders, basically this is what we are putting it in. So that's why when we build up our Tourism Malaysia strategic plan based on the feedback from the stakeholders, and then the latest one is our Tourism Malaysia strategic direction to VM 2026. All is all the basically the trust is is sustainable and experiential tourism. So that is the key thing that we are pushing. Okay. I think that's
very good. No, thank you very much. And I think you highlight some important points about how it was before. I think there was a wake-up call as well with COVID, to say that we have to change, and this has created a momentum as well to start thinking as well of how they were doing it before and how maybe we need to listen a little bit more or learn more traditional approaches, and maybe there still can help us nature-based solutions or others to address some of those issues. And thank you for sharing the different policies and plan. That will bring me to Mr. Horizan, which is, I call him the champion of champions this morning, because behind the big champion program. But you're really the champion for the tourism productivity nexus, and you're working very closely with both government and the industry player. And I think that's your biggest challenge. And I say it in a positive way because you've took on that challenge. You really want to bring the two to work together. So if you can share with us, we know that in the industry, there's also very different level of understanding, and you're still helping to bring the industry together. So what are the ongoing initiatives that are executed to accelerate understanding of sustainable practices on the ground by the industry? And how are you working with the government to work together to bring the industry in?
Thank you. Well, it took me 2 years to get industry to work together. That's how long it takes to get everybody to understand the role of Nexus. Eventually, everybody that I met, I got to explain to them what the Nexus do, and then eventually get all the NGOs, academia, and government. Because we need to sit down together to solve problems. And everybody have a different experience. Look at the whole industries on the site. Thousands of years of experience. They've gone through 5 visit Malaysia a year or 4 visit Malaysia a year. They understand the challenges, what works, what doesn't work. They are the one who knows. And many of the others in a government department, they can still be there, they're still there, but there are some who actually move to. So this knowledge is key for us to move forward. And then we learn someone, I have to name Mr. Haji Shah in front of me there. He said, Rohizam, we need Malaysia identity, right? Haji Shah, somebody who's looking, stand up please. This is the legend of the legend. I'm champion of the champion, is the legend of the legend. He said, Rohizam, we need identity of Malaysia. We need to find somewhere to really make Malaysia on the stage of the world. Thailand has our, but what do we have? So we start working together with industry, for the government agencies, then we come up with the campaign for Sayangi Malaysia. That's what it is all about. And then eventually how we define Sayangi Malaysia with sustainable tourism. It's so complicated when it comes to sustainable. Everybody have different learning curve, everybody have different understanding, the level of knowledge, we have professors to students, to industry practitioners, and we really need to simplify it so much. Again, we identify what key important on sustainable. The environment, the culture, the habitat, that in the context of Malaysia. Okay? In fact, in context of the world too. So then how can we teach everybody about environment? Because people always talk about sustainable tourism, people think it was green tourism or eco-tourism. Actually, of course, they go beyond it. How can we talk about community-based tourism have been working already? How we talk about ecotourism that actually have been happening? And how can we combine all this together? That's the reason why, at the end of the day, we really need to make a simple version of sustainable tourism so that everybody can implement and can work on it. And I believe that inclusivity is key into all this. Collaboration is the main challenges. But when you're able to solve that, you're able to get wonders. What happened then after 2 years of getting industry to work together, we produce champions, we produce our sustainable tourism roadmap, we have campaign of signing in Malaysia, and it industry driven. When I say industry, doesn't mean it's government. It's industry mean government, private sectors, the businesses, NGOs, students, everybody involved. So by doing that, then we can see the success and happening in Visit Malaysia here. Signing in Malaysia is actually for individual personnel, our commitment to the nation. Visit Malaysia here is a promotion of it. So if we start working on it now, 2 years to achieve the Malaysia hospitality, the real hospitality. And that's one way that all of us can put their effort, at least contribute even a little. We cannot depend on only Ministry of Tourism or Tourism Malaysia to do everything. We are the people behind it. Before I end, let me just share how powerful inclusivity is all about. Example, we talked to Ministry of Health about Malaysia problem. One of the most top chronic disease today is diabetes. All right, it's negative. But how can we turn that to be positive? Right, so we have a discussion. So now what we say is that we ask all the hoteliers, many of them today, to start having a sugar content level on all the buffet line. All right. By doing that, we are conscious in taking our sugar daily. Number two, we will not waste food, part of sustainability. Wellness, wasting food, okay? And that also will reduce the cost of the hoteliers to produce food. And then we can put Malaysia on the top of world of health and wellness tourism, not just medical. And because of that practice, we can promote to the world we are practicing a proper wellness in our tourism itself. So again, this is all the ideas from industry. We just put it together, run it. So inclusivity, collaboration is important, and I think everybody sing the same song and synergize with what we are doing today. That's
Thank you very much, Norizam. And I think you managed to really unpack in very simple word what that sustainability is always at the nexus. It's never just social, just environment, and how tourism is linked to health is not something, I don't think Ministry of Health would have thought that the tourism sector or the industry could have a role to play to actually help combat diabetes. No, but yes, there is actually a connection between health and tourism and how the industry can play a role. So I think having those conversations, as you are saying, it's taking the time to sit and make that connection between one area and the other, be health, environment, social. That's where we can find sometimes very simple solutions, but that helps can together address much broader issues. Let me now move to Ms. Maulita Serihani. We heard as well you in the morning and your opening presentation as well on some very good example of tourism village concept, very innovative ideas that are happening around us in so many different countries, including in Malaysia. So if you can tell us a little bit, what are the global trends and how does that link to shaping sustainable tourism practice? How do you see those practices evolving in the world? And how would you compare Malaysia to the rest of the world? No? That's a tough question,
That's
right?
a
Because you have a lot of
difficult
people
question.
listening. Yeah.
Considering that I'm outside Malaysia, so I believe I can say what I think, right, Prof? So thank you for the excellent question. Yes, the global trends for sustainable tourism still will addressing environmental concern, still will address inclusive community, and also the long-term sustainability of economic viability. So these three key areas still will be the highlights of, or the part of the sustainable tourism, and of course contributing to SDGs. As we know that when we talk about tourism, the SDG is not like only contributing in one, because it's a holistic ecosystem when we talk about tourism. And how about Malaysia? That's a difficult question. From what I learned from one of our village in Batu Puteh, also my observations in general, there are three potential model actually that can be applied. First is ecotourism. Why ecotourism? Because now travelers are seeking for more responsible activities. Like they're seeking to go to destinations with the offering of having reusable plates, a reusable energy, using eco-friendly transportation, engaging in traditional agricultural system. So those kind of things, it's become more popular. And then I believe Malaysia has the potentials there. And the second one is community-based tourism in rural areas. We see today, I discussed with several villages actually that approach me, and they are showcasing the great initiative with indigenous people. And this can be something that can be enforced by the collaboration of the stakeholders. High potentials, that's for sure. And from MOTAC, from Ministry of Economy as well, with the program, showcasing what is rural lifestyle. It is also a trend, like traveler seeking for authentic experiences, because they're coming from the big cities. They don't want to have experience of shopping mall. They do not want to have an experience of watching cinema. They would like to watch and engage in cultural performance. They would like to learn how to play gamelan. They would like to wear what you wear. So that's a part of the experience that engaging travelers that become more and more trendy. And the third one, it's smart tourism. We cannot hide anymore with digitalization. So smart tourism, virtual reality, augmented reality, with all these digital platforms. The world is there. People would like to reach Malaysia from South America. What do you have to offer? We need this. Even in rural areas, they need to promote themselves by having this marketplace. And so these three models, I believe, will be a big, huge potential for Malaysia to develop sustainable tourism. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and for bringing the perspective of the demand, no? Because we looked at the policy, the industry, but then what our tourists are asking, what's the demand for what kind of products? So yeah, and it's true actually, we see more and more tourists asking for eco experience, eco product, community experience. And actually smart tourism I never thought about. So that's a new learning. I know about it, but actually, so it's still hard for me to conceptualize how I would enjoy a virtual tourism, but I would really like to explore and see, because I'm sure there is a very good experience to
Just
to
a
live.
small comment on this. During COVID-19, I work with whale shark, manta rays tourism, in which people cannot go and travel for that. But what can we do? We innovate to create virtual reality, and then so online tour or e-tour, we take them to experience underwater swimming with the whale shark. And then because people, they're seeking to go out, they've been bored like 1 year, cannot go out anywhere. But we need to innovate, we need to use the technology. So that's what we do. We cannot stay, the community needs to get incentive. And then with tourism killing everyone,
And then so this is one of the way utilize technology. And we have so many smart young people that have brilliant ideas. Like one of the champion yesterday was amazed, like, okay, they have this platform development and it's very, very useful. Okay. And that brings me now to Prof. Dr. Amran, who is the Tourism Planning and Director of the Center of Innovative Planning and Development, the CIPD of University Technology Malaysia. We know that there's a lot of needs, a lot of things happening on the ground. A lot of things are being developed, innovative tourism products that either improve waste management systems or claim that they improve waste management system. That really requires, like as we said, engagement from private sector and different stakeholders. How do we make sure that this stays coordinated and also complement one another? And how can we plan and measure the impact of those initiatives to make sure that as a collective, they're actually really helping the sustainability at the destination?
Thank you, ma'am. And that's our Achilles heel in terms of monitoring, in terms of measuring the impacts, and also taking actions to, if we want to improve its impacts. Looking back at the policy level, since I've been very fortunate to be involved to lead the formulation of the National Ecotourism Plan and the National Tourism Policy. So if it's a plan at the back of it, it should always have a chapter on monitoring and measuring impacts and achievements. Policy may not have to, so because that provides the overarching strategies for the country. But for the National Ecotourism Plan, we did not have it, not because we did not want to have it, but because it was almost like a policy document. But since then, many state governments and so many local authorities have also developed their own tourism master plans, tourism action plans. And I look at most of these plans, and usually at the end, there's always the monitoring lacking. So we do not monitor our implementation. So, but at the same time, what has happened over the past few years has been a real improvement in terms of trying to implement sustainable tourism actions and programs at the destination level. And this I would consider as a first stage in upscaling the tourism industry in Malaysia. But they are all limited to what I can call as demonstration projects. And they are fantastic projects. You can see outside the sustainable tourism projects funded by MOF, the UNDP, the Manjung, the Setiu projects. They are all wonderful. They have been able to empower local communities, and there are many more on the TPN. And if we want to use this as a catalyst for collecting data, and this is where you can use them, because if you have such kinds of local community-based projects, and it's easy to integrate monitoring system based on the national indicators, and then you will have a lot of fragmented data. Before this, we have very generic data. Malaysia, if you want to have arrivals, figures, you do have that. But they are not very helpful if you want to do destination level planning. For example, data with due respect to our Department of Statistics, DOSM on domestic tourism, sometimes can give you a false impression of what is happening on the ground. Terengganu, you look at the data, it says that very few tourists stay in hotels in Terengganu. Many of them would stay with friends and families, and that would imply that Terengganu is not a favorite destination. But in actual fact, many of tourists, especially domestic tourists, are staying in what's called the guest houses, illegal homestays, whatever you may call it. But Technically, they are called short-term rental accommodation, STRA, and they are never captured in the tourism database. And if you can include this, and then it will give a totally different perspective that Terengganu is one of the leading states in terms of developing and promoting tourism and receiving tourists. So moving forward, how do you move from demonstration projects to transformative strategies? So the national tourism policy is aimed at transformation to regain or to maintain Malaysia, our industry's competitiveness, sustainability, and inclusiveness. And to do that, you will have to find a way of building on the energy of the demonstrative projects that are excellent, and that will provide you with the database nationwide. And if you look at the National Ecotourism Plan, there are 60 ecotourism clusters planned. Whether or not they have been able to be implemented is another story, but that will provide the platform whereby they can become DMOs, destination management organizations, and data collection will be. So we are not going to do for the whole country. We don't have to do inch by inch, but we can do by clusters. So if you say that, you know, the ecotourism clusters, you have very good network, you have very good partnerships, government, industry, local communities, and then you have a platform for very good data collection. And then you can build in different kinds of mechanisms like embracing sustainability certification, like GSTC, Global Sustainability Council, criteria, INSTO. So we are already on the move towards this. And I think in the next few years, you can see then how we can really upscale from demonstrative to transformative.
Thank you, Dr. Amran. I really like the notion of demonstration. And I think there's a lot of demonstration to move to transformation, and the role of data, the role of monitoring as well, and evaluation. I think we don't necessarily discuss this enough because the tourism is a sector of action, but being able to measure the impact of the different activities that we are doing, and it will help us to better plan on a longer run, and then get to that larger scale transformation. You just mentioned very briefly INSTO, and before I open for the floor for questions, I would just like you to, because there will be a demonstration, I think we can say at this stage. But so if you could talk a little bit about what is this INSTO and what's the value for Malaysia, or you know, to try to test this model to help do better data-driven planning, no?
Thank you. I think Molita should be a better person to answer, but I will answer for her. So it is a program under UNTourism introduced in, I think, 2004. It's been 20 years since. And what INSTO, which is an international network for sustainable tourism observatories. It is an observatory whereby what they do is they collect data and develop a system where you can share and use the data to monitor how successful the destination has been in terms of achieving the indicators that have been developed. And this is a standard indicators. There are 11 indicators from solid waste management and local community participation. And every year we will have to do the collection, and then you can see the progress, and that will give us the confidence to say that this particular destination is already at a certain level of sustainable tourism, and that helps national tourism planning, that helps the state to plan. And UNDP and MOTAC, they are now spearheading the first developing a framework for INSTO, and I'm again privileged to be assisting them. And we are starting with Mersing, simply because Mersing has already, you know, a very good system of multi stakeholder, you know, the contribution. They have been doing it. The government, local communities, they have an expert system where they analyze data. So once this is done, it will be like a pilot project, and other destinations in the country can also learn from Mercy. And if they want to become an INSTO, then they can go through the process. Eventually, this will grow into a national way of, improving the quality and the standard, and also the credibility of when we say our area is sustainable. It's not just something we claim and but it's also proven through INSTO because it's under UN tourism. But it has to be spearheaded by a local authority. It's not coming from the NGO or MOTAC. They do support, but it has to be the appetite, desire must come from a local authority. It's proud to showcase and be involved in this project. Maybe, Polita, you know better than me on tourism.
Yes, thank you. So just adding a little bit on that, this INSTO, it's only a platform for a destination to assess their performances, okay? However, the indicators is very flexible because one destination is different with the other destination. We have this 11 big ideas or big indicators. However, the sub-indicators we can build based on the characteristic of the destination. So for example, destinations in Kampung Baru will be different with the one in Batu Puteh, for example. Why? Because in Batu Puteh, they're more concentrating on the conservation efforts and how they can measure, for example, the number of population of the pygmy elephants. While in Batu Puteh, the conservation, it's more on the cultural aspects, for example. So that's why INSTO in UNTourism, it's adopting or actually the destination adopt the framework from UNTourism, and then it can be implemented in accordingly to the situation of the destination.
Thank you. So we hope that the demonstration will yield good result. Thank you to Mersing for the leadership as well at the local level. We need local council that take the challenge and the ownership, and because otherwise we cannot pilot those standards and then learn from it and see how it can inform others. And it's linked to your point as well, that this is what also more and more tourists around the world are asking for. Some people look for those standards to go to the destination. No? So it's responding to a growing demand, I would say. So I would like to open the floor. I have more questions, but I would like to make it interactive and ask the audience to come in as well. Despite being end of the day, I'm sure there's a few questions that you would like to ask to our panelists. Yes, please.
Good afternoon. Saya in Malaysia. My name is Shahrudin. I'm involved in this SDG from the beginning. Sometimes I come, sometimes I do my commitments. But what I want to highlight here is that all of us here maybe have idea, aware, and conversant of the issue SDG. There are three categories of, I think, the understanding. Some people very well versed on this, like Martin, for example. Some people know a bit, like us, we are doing it a bit. There's another at the bottom who doesn't know about it at all and don't care. So what we are doing now, actually, we're going to educate the same old people who knows about it all the time. This issue, I think, must go down to the ground. We need to build up the awareness and also buy-in from the general public, the population. And who has to do it? The authority, the local government must be. We have representatives from Ministry of Tourism, but we don't have anybody from Ministry of Environment. Yeah, local authorities who have to take up the action on this. We don't have anybody from that ministry or local authority. No, we must engage these people. Then only we can have people who actually have the power, authority to work on it and take up the issues and the initiatives so that we can have a successful result of the objective we want. I think this is very important. We do not give too much of these people. We have enough, maybe. We do too much or we don't know anything. But we need to build up from the bottom all these issues so that it becomes a habit, a way of life. So no need to teach them. They know. They do it as natural as they eat or drink. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Very good comment. No, how do we expand? How do we do champion of champions? And how do we bring more ministries as well that have a role to play in tourism, even if they're not MOTAC? No, so maybe I can invite you to share a few reflections on this. No?
Okay, thanks. Basically, what Tourism Malaysia do, because we are the one that are going to act on it. Basically, as you know, the entity basically when they talk about the to practice the sustainable and responsible culture and then community-based tourism. So, but if you look back, done some bit of research, basically, like when we talk on agrotourism, basically it was included in this plan in 1981, and then even homestay is introduced in 1995 in the rural tourism industry plan. Yeah? So we have have done a long way, and then what we are looking at, how you want to implement and involve other agencies and local authorities and all that. So basically it's quite a tough job. And then basically when we look at the 5 things that we have to, first we must understand when our tour operators pushing for certain packages, they are looking for the mainstream, important, the mainstream. And then what we do is that we have a division called package development division. To facilitate this, we identified, the hidden gems and all that, and then we do go down into on the ground and we meet with the local authority, with the head villagers, and then the of course the tourism state authorities, and even sometimes we have like a meeting with them, and sometimes we do like like it's a we invite them to have dinner with us, and then we converse with them. So basically for us, if we think that that place can be sold, we'll basically try, and then we'll highlight to them things that what will benefit the people, because this will trickle down to that in terms of economy, in terms of cultural preservation and all that. So but we have to have the buy-in from the local authority, and of course the village people. If we don't have the buy-in, we'll not go in. Even though the place is beautiful, have the the attractions and all that. So basically I need my colleague there to show the I'm just showing you the I have to explain on this one. So this is the thing that okay, these some things that we go down and develop, packages and all that, So what we have done is that, for example, in Bujang Valley, we want to promote it. Not everyone is interested in something old. It's historical, it's more than 1,000 years old. So basically, but if you want to sell package, we have to look at the surrounding area. They have Mount Jerai is the geopark, and then they have the paddy fields, and then they have 3 beautiful islands. You can see from the paddy fields, they have 3 beautiful islands. It's just like 5 minutes away by speedboat, and it's very clear water. So basically, and then they have like a cruise. You can do a mangrove tour, and then they can even have a fresh oyster. So this thing, you have to tidy it up, and then the things spill over, and basically then the people can buy it, because they don't see like, oh, you just go there at Bujang Valley, take picture, and then go back. Now they can stay at the resort in Mount Jerai, or they can stay in the homestay in the paddy field in Yan, or they can go for picnic in the islands. So this is the thing that you have to combine them, so they will stay and they will spend, and the community will benefit, and then it's easy to sell to them sustainable food. So, thank you.
Thank you. And interesting how you go down at the local level and really develop a new package.
Everyone saying that place is too small, nothing to do. So it's not easy for us to get agent to go to have a seminar with us to come up with packages and all that, we have to call them and say like, please come. We are paying for your accommodation and all the foods, and they said what to do in Perlis. So basically, what we do is that we show them, they have the, if you like to do rock climbing, you can caving, and then seafood. So it's a lot of things, and beautiful homestay. So we managed to bring them, and what I do is that I torture them for 2 days, from morning until night. I will not allow them to go back to the hotels. We bring them to show that there's a lot of things, caving, blah blah blah, and then can go to the lake. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we can see that we start to have, and you say we're all already converted, but I saw this morning there were a group of champions that were not necessarily converted a year back, no? So, Rohisam, how do we move from 30 champion to 200 champion to 5,000 champion to 1,000,000 champions, no?
There you go. I have 30 today, times 3 every year. Each one of them have to graduate 3 per year. But because we're talking about policy, and I think we are good at doing policy, blueprint, policy, plan, but that's not delivered to people. Okay. What I see is, in fact, during lunch, there was a student asked me. They say, how can we get the government to hear and listen to the people from the ground, from the villages, people who are not educated, because we don't understand the policy. So this is part of the failure of where we are. When I took over as a champion 3 years ago, the first thing I asked the industry, do you all know about national tourism policy? You all know. So we have a conference, a strategic session to make them understand. Then again, when I was appointed Minister of Economy, my main forte was to digitalize the digitalization of the tourism industry. That's actually my main forte. I was developing the booking engine, virtual reality, way back 30 years ago. Already done that, yeah. But then I said, forget about digitalization first, because the whole foundation works. Because we need a strong foundation. When people at large doesn't know the policy, what's happening? So the idea is that before we actually produce a policy or act or anything, that's the reason why we came up with the simplified ABCD. Right? Have you get people aware of it, discuss and see whether we can deliver, make it happen. And then we look into the best practices. So how can we tell them these are the way? 3, whether we can make it C, ABC, C is collaboration. How we can make it better. Multiply effect of everybody. D, diversify your idea. How can we actually get more buying, more innovative, and E, economic impact before we even go into policy. Before the policy is an end. For example, we talk about in-store just now. It may not be a policy, but I can say the end game of how we reach. But when we give them a big jargon names like in-store, right? People, wow, okay, too big, right? Okay, we shy away first, we wait what to see and what happens. But if we start working along the way with ABCD, walk with them in the next few years, then everything else will fall in place. Big, they have to have any problem or to big investment. So the whole idea of before we would produce anything is to get besides we do get input, but whether they understand whether this is happening. There is where the problem synergy, I would say, when people industry don't understand, document just become a book. When people don't understand, the document become pure. There's no action. And whenever we produce something, there must always be action. Action plan is not about our target. Action plan is how actually to do it. So that's why I think that I'll take this opportunity on policy dialogue to tell industry and government that the ABCDE work through that first before we even want to call it a policy. It may take years to do policy, but at the end of the day, no point having policy when you don't understand, when you can even give you example why we have a lot of STRA, why we have a lot of illegals, why we have a lot of things that we cannot control, and we start adding more enforcement officer to do that. We are wasting our time because some of them they say, oh, we need license for this. Many of them say, I don't even know where we need this. I don't know where we need that. I don't even know where we have this policy. But yes, you find them, they become an issue, but we don't have the harmony of the economy. Build a harmony economy, make sure everybody understand, aware, and then we start getting the policy.
Other question? Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Captain Mahathir Mansor. I'm president of BIDA. Pertaining to what have been mentioned by Champion about policies, this policy by the NGOs. Now, I want to ask the policy, what the government policy can shape to better the sustainable tourism industry. What I mean is that shaping better means by the incentive that we all are waiting for. See, like maybe giving some tax incentive or grants or subsidies. That's what all of us are waiting for. Thank you.
It's for you, one question on what kind of incentives can be put in place to help the industry transition.
Yes, I'm only the marketing arm of MOTAC. So basically, I'm not sure what about MOTAC policy, but the grant that we are giving is more on assisting. We have 3 types of grant for under Tourism Malaysia. So one is we call Gamelan, that is matching grant. When you do promotion overseas or in the country, we'll match it 50%, but it's only up to 30,000. And then the other one is when you want to organize event, any type of event that will bring either domestic or international level. And the third one is this is more for the airlines. Basically, what we do is that we because we know that our weaknesses compared to our neighbors Singapore and Thailand, we have lack of air connectivity. So we are giving we are giving grant to the airline or OTAs that going to fly in to new routes or increase their flights or charter flights during the peak season. So that's how Tourism Malaysia assists the industry because our job only confined to that. And then of course we facilitate in terms of promotion, like all the packages that, because we don't own any packages. So basically these packages we facilitate because we see that nobody is carrying it up, doing it. So we facilitate to come up with the packages. We cover for the promotion. We also distribute it, online to our overseas office and then through when we do our road shows. So this is how Tourism Malaysia assists the private sectors and of course the public. Because I cannot answer for on behalf of MOTAC.
So I think there's a lot of grants out there from different various ministries. We also have NRES representative here. I think Badisha that we do have NRES representative and one of the judges yesterday as well. But we need to be able to get them to the right channel of this grant because different grants have own different criteria, requirements. For example, when we have electricity bill tariffs increase, we managed to get a grant from SEDA. But then at the end of the day, it was not about the tariff increase only, but the lot of leakages in hotels, in all the outlets, with the F&B. So basically, the increase of cost, yes, even a little, have tripled the cost of the operators. But when we did an audit of it, also partly because of the whole technology. So it is true to implement this sustainability, everybody keep on talking about cost, investment, and very hard. But this where as person who have to balance between government and also the industry. Sometimes they also don't like me because I got to tell them the truth. I also don't have to be in the middle. When there is a grant, people didn't apply. And here, many people come to see me say, well, nobody will apply this. Then I also blame them for not promoting this. Okay, so like Captain Mahathir, he was doing a lot on solar power, which is very good technology and system. But at the end of the day, how can we make use of this and make it industry driven rather than always government? So this is where we really need to be able to work together, and especially budget going to be announced very soon. So I hope there are a lot more run for our sustainability.
Yes. No, there's someone in the back first. Yeah. Yeah. We will take 2-3 questions and then yeah. Okay. Introduce the front.
Hello, I'm Dinah. I'm a licensed tourist guide. I have a question for Encik Sharin. Can you get back your PowerPoint? The one with a lot of packages? Yeah. A lot of the packages. Now, Encik Sharin, you mentioned that you have to persuade, you have to invite, then only people come when you want to tell them about these packages. Tourist guides, we have nearly about 20,000 licensed tourist guides registered in Malaysia. And 50% of them are active. We can be your free promoters. We used to have dialogue with Tourism Malaysia. Every 6 months, you have new products like these. You hold a briefing session, and we guides will come, and the people who are promoting these tour packages are given like 15 minutes to share what they have. And then we tourist guides will then go back and tell our bosses. Some of our bosses are the tour operators. So I think don't just concentrate on one. The sad thing is some of our tour operators, they're more interested in doing outbound than inbound. But we tourist guides are 100% interested in inbound because that's our livelihood. Okay, so I think if you, in future, you have any packages like this where you want to promote anything, please consider us. And then your other slide where you talked about the grants. Can I have that slide? Yeah, the last one, sustainable and experiential tourism. Get us. We guides are the best storytellers in the world. And we are the ones who deal direct with the tourists. Not only just the tourists, the local tourists, the domestic tourists, and also the community. And we can introduce to them what you mean by sustainable tourism. And we can give them the experience. So we have the capacity, we have the human resource, but a lot of our human resources are not recognized because we are looked as a cost factor when people should look at us as an investment. My last question is this. I have a very, very small request for sustainable tourism. This hotel is a very good hotel because they never give bottled water. Okay? You want water? You get it from the dispenser. And I saw many people, just like me, we brought our own water flasks. I want to use this platform. I want to persuade the industry, especially transporters or tour operators, stop providing bottled mineral waters in the buses. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So basically, for these packages that I shown to you, basically, we start from scratch. Yeah? We go and do the, we look at, we recce it first, and then after that, and then we meet all the, basically we meet with even the tourist guide, yeah? And also we invite the tourist guide for the session. But we need the travel agent because we need them to develop the package. Because Tourism Malaysia cannot develop package and we cannot sell it. So what we are doing is that we are we identify things that is not in the market, is not interested to be sold by the travel agent if there's no push from us. So this is what we do. And even in the seminar, or we, basically we include the tourist guide, yeah? Even in Ipoh, even in Perlis, even in Penang and Batu. Basically, we do the launching in Batu for the Penang and Bujang Valley. So this is the thing that we are doing. And of course, when you see the plan for VMY, Visit Malaysia, basically this is the, why we put sustainable, and that is the the theme for Visit Malaysia here. And as you can see that, because Rahizam is saying that, not just policy, you can see the 3 pillars is how Tourism Malaysia is trying to get the target given to us. Because we are given a very high target of 35.6 million in year 2026. So we have these 3 pillars, and we have identified, what is the thing that we should be doing. And you can see that at the 3rd pillar, we prioritize the market, and then you can see that we segmentize the market. Yeah, and you can see that the niche market is very important to us, because we want the tourists to be spread out. And one thing good about niche tourism is that it doesn't have seasonality, and people go beyond the normal tourist destination. That's why we highlighted niche tourism. Yeah, how we segmentize our market. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sharin. Okay, two areas on policy. One is, although a lot of efforts put in by MOTAC, Tourism Malaysia, industry players to drive sustainable, environmentally protected directions towards sustainability in tourism, we have major on the ground policies that the local government is not working towards what we all are trying to do. This is his stomach ache, my stomach ache, everybody's stomach ache. This is the reality. Yeah? And sometimes it's very difficult to sit on the other side when we ask questions from here, because they also know what is happening. So I think we need to look into a solution-based, Professor, maybe you should look into this, how a special team or a brainstorming session put out, endorsed directly by the Prime Minister, to enhance this policy status and how this can be implemented. Only then we all can be very proud, say that we are champions, we are driving something straight. Until and unless we're not doing that, we have 26 park status identified in Langkawi Island. Out of the 26, 9 of them has been totally taken. Then the Chief Minister makes a decision, they make some decision, convert it over and put into big major project that destroys that. So these are things happening not only there, but in also in Asia as well. So I think those kind of planning is very important. Instead of, we are trying to do some initiatives which are very, very good, pulses our passion towards the growth, but then we don't see down the line the action. Number 2, product development. Like you have done beautiful packages. I think you need to do a wholesome understanding how to do product development. Number 1, we have identified the plate, we have packaged it, we have the itinerary. I was talking this afternoon with the professor. He said, have you gone to Gunung Jerai in Kedah? I was born in Sungai Petani, that's my hometown. I've been many times. But the packages has come up. If I send someone from Penang Island or from Langkawi Island, then I will need somebody to take some people to go to Gunung Jerai and explain all that in English, or at least English as a language, to bring them back. 0. This is the same position we have in Kelantan, we have in Terengganu, many parts of Peninsular Malaysia as well. So those are areas that we need to develop a wholesome packaging, understanding, language barriers, training up of the guides and local communities is very important. If you don't have that, you can have all the beautiful places which we have, but you can't really forcefully sell.
Maybe Dr. Amran, if you want.
Thank you, Eric. I think very good question. Two answers, if I can. One is when we look at policy, especially how the national tourism policy and the national tourism plan are cascaded to the destination level. Several years ago, I was disappointed. I think nobody knew about this thing, but when I see a lot of presentations and I see that there's a lot of fair understanding. They know where the country is going in terms of tourism. And then you identify at what level is the problem in terms of implementation. You have national, of course, MOTAC is in Malaysia. So they are doing a good job. State, so some are good, but it is at the local authority level that you correctly say that it is where, is a make or break. And if you ask me 10 years ago, how many local authorities would want to be involved in tourism, and I would say maybe 2, Malacca, Taipei. And because tourism is not their core business. It's totally not their core business. It is collecting rubbish. It is one of their core businesses, but not tourism. But now, many of them are very innovative. They are relatively innovative in coming up with new solutions to increase their income. It's just that they need more partners. I would say, because I say Insto, Mersing, macam daerah Kampa, Manjung of course, Setiu, KK, Malacca, at least 10 or 20 local authorities which are already involved in some kinds of assisting the growth of sustainable development, tourism. And if you look at where tourism is, very vibrant now, of course you can say Sabah Sempurna, Setiu, wetlands, Marang, we are going to the islands. And so many developments are coming in, being developed by local people, where guest houses, legal or illegal, and all sorts of things. And local authorities now are aware that they need to license them. So that's a key thing. If you cannot license, our accommodation, our providers, and then we will lose out in terms of competitiveness. So Malaysia, without license, people don't respect us in terms of safety and so on. And many of the authorities are doing what is called, local authorities are doing pemutihan, cleaning up, giving them the hand-holding, getting them the kebenaran merancang certified license, and this is where they have safety from bomber. Not easy. They have that one-stop center. But more and more of local authorities are trying to do this, and I think that's a good sign. So we have to build up this momentum. And then, do they know how industry works? No. So more engagement, So for example, if they want to sell a product, I used to say that Malaysia, we have tired products. I'm wrong, I must admit. We don't have, we have almost the same level of products as our ASEAN neighbors. It's just that we lack depth in storytelling. We lack depth in interpretation. We have wonderful guides, and Jimmy, yeah. But how do we connect, How do you make a channel for connect? And this is where digitalization comes in. We have to really embrace, new smart tourism, because all the wonderful guides, nobody knows how to connect them unless you are connected. So if you blame the international platforms like Agoda and so on for hiring or connecting to suppliers or tour guides that are illegal, then we must also, share with them all the legal guides so that they won't sell it to illegal ones. So there has to be a very concerted effort in trying to get everybody legal, because the feeling in industry now, especially at the vibrant areas is that let's just do it. Eventually, authorities come and we will pay. That's not a good way of doing things. You must start that. This is the bottom line. We must get it legal. And how to do that? It is where collaboration is required. The use of technology is also essential. AI will be very damaging or very good for us. It's up to how we use it. And we have to use what is already being developed, like smart cities. They already have the platform, the system. Smart tourism can just hook on. You don't have to reinvent smart tourism, control center. China can afford to do this, but not us. So there are a lot of planned Malaysia cities that already have this. Smart tourism is all controlled by local authorities. And I think we need to look at how local authorities could be further empowered and become partners. Yes, they play that crucial role. Thank you.
I think we all are well aware that we have ministry, we have state government, we have the local authority. And then we divide it into different politicals, parliamentaries, interests, and others, right? So certain states want to do this, certain states want to do this. Certain states say this is wrong, certain say this is right. And then it goes to the PPT have a different perspective. So at the end of the day, what holding us back is the understanding of what we're trying to achieve. Am I right? Okay. For example, like through us, the TPN, we've been compiling issues of the industry. Believe me, we are compiled now to the up to 45 issues that we cannot solve for the past 10 years, right? Okay, example, the licensing, the hotel license about the STRA or short-term rental, we got license. This Haji Shah and Dr. Ganesh there have been talking about it since 2013, and we can't solve the problem. While not solving the problem, we also lost about 20 billion tax collection, right? Okay, and then we also have issues like music copyright. We also have issues like adventure tourism. Adventure tourism is part of sustainability because it's also involved a lot of local community. The Malim Gunung, can I see how many Malim Gunung here? There you go, all right. So they don't have SOP. So who's doing it? And no ministry want to be in charge. Again, forget about, there's one issue about current that don't have a local authority to lead. They also people who have no ministry. All right. So we are working MPC with TPN with Ministry of Tourism Sabah is working on the SOP for adventure tourism. Because at the end of the day, I'll give you another example. Golf industry. I mentioned earlier. Golf industry, they can even get caddies. There's no permit. And also no ministry going to help them to get caddy because there's no caddies for golf industry. So at the end of the day, if you look into our current structure itself, it's not easy to solve, right? Again, my belief, I've been telling all the champions, my last departing word to you, all right? You need to lead. You need to take charge. You need to make it happen. Because if we wait, it's not going to happen. If we in industry players keep on waiting, harping, waiting for government to give this, waiting for government to give that, I'm already stepped back on that. For me is, whatever we do, there are a lot of people out there. There are people willing to help us to achieve our goal. If we're able to bring a value, a return on investment, and make them understand. We cannot be complacent. We cannot be in the comfort zone. I'm doing this. I'm doing this for the past 20 years. I'm good at it. But doesn't mean what you're doing for the past 20 years is the same thing that you can do in the next 10 years. So when you take charge, when you take the lead, when you do something, if the PPT thinks is good, or the government thinks is good, hopefully they will start approaching you and think, this is where we have to work together. All right? Because if not, put it this way, they also have thousands of things to look at. We also have 1,000 things to look at. So at the end of the day, we are the ones in the business, we are the ones who need the economic financial, so we have to strive something ourselves.
Thank you. I think these were all very good questions. Yes, I think we'll have to slowly close, and I have one more question for a 30-second. One more question. Do we take one more? Okay, one last one. Yeah. Okay.
Evening. My name is Ganesan. I'm a licensed tour guide. My analyzing for you today, the whole day, when I see that you have sustainable tourism, digital tourism, urban tourism, ecotourism, community-based tourism, rural tourism, marine ecotourism. Thank you for doing the job. But my humble request is very, very simple. Adding on to Dinah, my colleague, we are there. So our humble request is we need the ministry or the NDP to give us some space for guiding purposes. It's not everything that you people are doing is digital and whatever ecotourism which is going on, whereby the tourists nowadays are not asking for tour guides. So what happens, like especially during the pandemic, tourist guides are the one who suffered most, which my chairman should know, Jimmy. So that is where, and now after the pandemic, the tour is just starting to pick up. But if you people are starting for this digital, whatever tourism you people are doing, yes, it's a good job. But at least, please, my humble request is, please give the guides some space. Do you agree? Right? Do you all agree? That's my humble request. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I think you've given good example of Nexus, no? How the tour guide can actually help the different packages, and it all goes back to having more of those conversations where we see the different needs and the different contribution that can be done by the different sectors, no? It would be hard to summarize all the key points because we've went really from the policy to, I like also I just want to go back when you said that, Kamran, that there were 2 maybe local council award champion. Now we are 10. I always look, that's my team these days, I look for signal of hope because I feel sometimes it's difficult, and I could hear you say, we're trying, but then we're blocked all the time. And, I feel like this sometimes as well at the UN because we promote very high transformative agenda, and we sometimes feel we're going backward. So I think this is hope as well. You move from 2 local, now we can name 10 or more. How do we give visibility to those, multi-stakeholders and local councils that are becoming champion? Let's give them visibility. Let's engage the guides as well together to work with the rest of the industry. And I think I'm hopeful that this will continue to grow because the demand, the world is changing. The demand is increasing internationally and even locally. I would say the young generation is also pushing to change behavior. The water, the water bottle, the plastic. This will become the norm it's a matter of time, so we need to continue. Even I think when I came 4 years ago, it was impossible just to get an event with no plastic bottle was almost impossible. Now it's a requirement for us. We will not do the event at your place if there is plastic bottle everywhere, no? So I think we need all of us who are convinced. Let's continue that. So I will ask our esteemed panelists 30 seconds, okay? Malaysia 2026, Destination 2026 is our target, right? We want Malaysia to shine. We want Malaysia to have move in this transformative move from, experiments to more transformative. In 30 seconds, what's the must happen? Okay, one thing each. Take away from that discussion if we want Malaysia 2026 to really show the way for sustainable tourism. Okay, so 30 seconds. Okay. It seems you knew the question before preparing your PowerPoint because he always has the slide ready for the question.
Sorry. Okay. The thing is that I'm saying that enforcement is a too strong word that I use. It should be try to implement these three things. Yeah. One is the carrying capacity. You can see it happening mostly in Sabah. And then wastewater treatment. Our friend Anthony is not here. I mean, he's he's here. So he's the the guru for this. A lot of, because I like to go to the islands and the beach and all that, and I can see that they have not done the wastewater treatment. I mean, basically they just go into the sea, and that's why the E. coli level is higher. And then of course we know that in Europe OTAs are asking for the certification of sustainable tourism, and one day, I mean, they will ask from all the Malaysian hoteliers or attractions, or even the from the travel agent, the hotel. So basically we have to work for that. I know that some of them already have it, but we should be pushing for that. Okay.
Very good. 3 concrete step forwards. Norizam, yeah.
30 seconds. Understand and promote Sayangi Malaysia. All in there. And I also request from tour guide, because you are the champion and meeting people directly on the ground, understand what Sayangi Malaysia means, implement and teach the tourists, because each time you pitch them when they come to destination, you can tell them the reason why you are here, because you love our environment, you love our nature, please help us to take care. That is Sayangi Malaysia.
Okay, message of hope. What needs to happen between 2026?
It's a bit difficult for me to see. I mean, from the outside of all, but however, from these 2 days, what I can see, what I observe, and what I can conclude for Tourism Malaysia, it's only 2 key. First, communication. Second, collaboration. That's the key. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Thank you.
Communication, collaboration. Dr. Amran, the last word.
More than 30 seconds, last speak. I think revenge tourism after COVID is still going on. I am surprised to see families in Malaysia every weekend, traffic jam on the highway. I'm always stuck there. So all those places that Sharon have shown, they have discovered it some time ago by themselves. They didn't use any tour guides or tour operators. It's sad because they are only looking at it at a very superficial manner. Instagram, they just need Instagrammable sites, spots, and they're happy. When I ask them, are they happy? Would they want to know more? Yes. Do you want a guide to show you around? Well, at least 4 out of 10 will say yes. And I think the role of guides is very crucial. And how do we connect? That is why by 2026, we need to have a very clever digitalized system where we connect everything. Seamless for tourists, within domestic tourists, international tourists when they come back, for them to travel using their handphone and to use the wonderful, excellent, guides at all the wonderful places that we have. Like I said before, it's not that we have tired products, just tired the way we, the depth of the presentation. So digitalize, and that. Thanks.
Digital, very good, no? I love ending with the 30-second because everyone needs to be very clear, and that gives you your takeaway. So a huge thank you to our wonderful panelists. I think it was a very exciting discussion. I wish I will still be here in 2026 and we can see how many we would be in that room, how many more champions we can bring in working all together to drive transformation of the tourism sector in Malaysia. So a huge thank you, and I understand there won't be any official closing remarks that ends our day. I really want to thank all the participants, industry, governments, civil society organization for taking the whole day to come, have those conversations, raise your point, connect. That's the only way we can build a strong network in Malaysia. I want to thank MOTAC and TPN for such a wonderful partnerships. UNDP is always happy to partner with collaborators who have drive, who have vision. Dr. Imran is working as well on piloting the Insto, and will surely want to continue the journey with all the stakeholders, with the means that we have and the connection to other UN agencies and a UN system we can do. And I wish you all the very best in the continuity of your efforts at the local level as well. Yeah? Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to all of our speakers for their valuable contributions and insights on how Malaysia can localize the SDGs within the tourism industry. The strategies shared today will undoubtedly play a key role in shaping a sustainable future for Malaysia's tourism sector, ensuring shared benefits and lasting impact.
Let's all give them a big round of applause for their expertise and thought-provoking discussions. This concludes our policy dialogue. Thank you for your participation, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
And we also have something to be given away. We'd like to invite the speakers to accept token of appreciation from the organizer. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it was a great pleasure having all of you today for today's program. And on behalf of the organizer, UNDP, MOTAC, and TPN, we say thank you and hope to see all of you again in 2025. Until we meet again, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.